I keep saying I'm gonna buy an exact replica, cut open its butthole, and stuff it full of jelly beans so that I can squish it and it'll poop out jelly beans.
There we go.
And I really want to do that, but I don't have money now.
I know that exists in the multiverse. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 6 of our movie review podcast. We did a little bit of rebranding to try to make ourselves a little bit more marketable and
more unique,
more
easy to remember.
Yeah. So this is actually the Spudcast.
Spudcast.
Yeah. I'm Jordan. This is
Brandon.
I'm Eddie.
And Eddie.
And if you hear my baby, she's right next to me. That's why.
We got to make sure she's all right. Obviously,
she's chewing on a llama.
You might notice that we've got some new episode. And I mean, it was in the last episode.
Yeah, we mentioned
the first time all three.
Eddie's
of us
never
have
seen
had
it before.
Yeah, I haven't used it yet.
And episode 6. This is a big one, guys.
Yeah.
This is all viewer submissions. So we got comments.
You made terrible choices.
Yep.
A little. So we did all viewer submissions. Before we get too much into it, you can check us out on Himalaya and SoundCloud.
Yep.
And we're possibly in the works of trying to get on iTunes and Google Play.
Trying to figure that out.
We're working on it. We're gonna get it. That's the plan. So we're gonna be more accessible to everyone, so you can tell your friends about it. And so let's just dive right into it. So our 3 picks were Roma, Abducted in Plain Sight, and Tao.
Oscar award-winning Roma.
Yeah, the director one.
Yeah.
Do you want to take Roma, or do you want me to take Roma?
Well, we're supposed to do our potatoes, remember?
That's what we're doing, but we're gonna start.
This is episode 6.
Yeah.
We
have to do
6.
like the brief synopsis of
The
each
spoiler-free.
All right, well
synopsis.
then take it, Brendan.
You want to take Roma?
Yeah, I'll take Roma. So Roma is the Oscar award-winning movie about this maid. It takes place in 1970s Mexico of this maid named Cleo, and you just follow her everyday life. Her life is shit, pretty much. Gets treated like crap the whole movie, and then it just gets worse.
And then Cthulhu bangs her.
I wish that would have been the twist I needed.
This whole movie's in black and white.
For all of our colorblind viewers, this movie won't affect you.
Nope, it's in black and white the whole movie.
For some reason.
Director's choice. It got him an Oscar.
I mean, I guess.
No, that's not.
Are you sure his name didn't get him an Oscar?
No, I'm pretty sure. We'll get into it, but I'm pretty sure there's a specific reason why he got an Oscar, but we'll get into it.
So let's go and are we doing our potatoes now, or are we going to?
Yeah, we do them now.
Yeah.
I give it none.
No potatoes for Roma.
What do you think?
I don't give it a potato either.
That movie.
Yeah, that movie. Oscar award-winning movie did not pass the.
Hate that, and we'll get into why it bothered me just as it exists. We're not going to spend too much time on it, just because there's not much to say about it. Next movie is one that we actually all watched together.
Yeah.
Abducted in Plain Sight.
Eddie,
do you want to take it?
Sure. Abducted in Plain Sight. I kind of want to do Tao, but I guess.
Oh, and if you want to do Tao, I can do this.
Yeah, all right. You do Abducted in Plain Sight.
So Abducted in Plain Sight is a documentary produced by Netflix, right? Yeah. About
Jan Broberg.
Jan Broberg, who was abducted in the 70s by
in plain sight.
Pedophile. Yeah, she was abducted in plain sight. That's true. Horseback riding. And
aliens were involved.
Believe it or not, aliens were involved.
Into thinking that she had to be with this pedophile, and that completely effed her up for her whole life. And
she is the real MVP of the human race, though.
She does genuinely think that she's going to save the planet, and she really does try to save the
planet. Mary for us all. So yeah.
But basically, the documentary chronicles the perspectives of the whole family as they retell the story of their kid and sister and herself. She's in it,
and their idiot decisions,
and they're just ridiculous decisions and questionable decisions.
Just kid stuff happens. Just kid stuff happens.
Hey guys, haven't we ever just been hanging out? And Brandon's like, hey man,
there might be a bro job.
Well,
not since the
Firefest
has there been a more funny gay moment between 2 older men and just some guy oblivious to how
that Firefest documentary is so good.
It's like, I get it, he's an older man, so he's a baby boomer. He probably never had a chance to experiment with his sexuality.
Yeah, because
but it's
in
like
the 70s.
You're so gay, bro. Like, it's so obvious. You're so.
There's
gay.
anything wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it, but
bro,
okay
you're
to
living
say
a lie.
Yeah,
you're living a lie.
There's nothing wrong with. We'll preface. There's nothing wrong with being gay, but he clocked he was gay the minute he moved into the neighborhood.
I give this documentary a potato.
I give it a full potato.
Yeah, I give it a full potato. It was
Eddie was sad the whole time.
Eddie was uncomfortable.
I'm not
the whole
in.
time.
Yeah, I'm not into movies about like sad things happening to kids. This is like the sad.
And the
don't think any of us
reenactments
are.
were just.
This is the
too
second
detailed.
documentary we've seen that's just about really dark stuff.
Yeah.
I
What was the
actually
first one?
LA 92.
Oh yeah. That's
LA
right.
92
It
was
got
the other
real
one. That was
dark
super
real
dark.
quick.
Yeah.
I think kids getting molested is more dark.
Oh,
definitely,
It's
yeah.
more dark, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's disturbing
For
to
sure.
watch like that guy get the.
our
kicked
second
out of him.
documentary that wasn't a feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we got a theme, but someone else suggested it.
I
so
mean,
it's
I
not
guess
on our
to
content.
some
Ain't on
people
us.
this is a feel good movie of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, so 3 potatoes for Abducted in Plain Sight. And then you want to go ahead and take the last movie, Tao?
Yeah, Tao.
Netflix's Tao.
Tao was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I don't know what the actress or actors' names are. I just know that they did really good in each of their parts.
Yeah.
Um,
She's the Captain Marvel we deserved.
was that what you were
Straight
thinking?
up.
She should be
When
back
I was
Captain
watching
Marvel?
her, I was like, you know what? She should have been
She's
Captain
a lot
Marvel.
hotter than Brie Olsen. And Brie Larson, and throughout the entire movie,
It wasn't even that. She like I saw her.
Well,
I'm like,
she was very
looks like she could have been a
physical.
better Captain
Yeah.
Marvel.
No, but I meant like she actually kind of looks like
but
she
you
could
don't
fill out the
recognize her
Captain
name,
Marvel
though.
costume.
And so she can't obviously work for Marvel if you don't know who she is already.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, no one knew who Sebastian Stan was. No one knew who Anthony Mackie
yeah, but that was because he was playing.
Well,
he
Anthony
was
Mackie
playing,
was gearing up for his Oscar
award
role
winning
in
in I.O.
But what is the movie about, Eddie?
Oh, it's about a woman who is abducted by this crazy weirdo, and he's conducting experiments on her. And there's this AI house, and it
played
all
by Gary Oldman.
It's like Disney's Smart House, but better.
yeah, it has a lot in line with recent movies that have come out that are pretty dope, like Upgrade and Hotel Artemis. It all reminds me of those movies. I like to imagine all these movies are actually taking place in the same universe.
The race for AI.
It's all just like this gritty. It's not super distant into the future, but we got robots and.
Well, it's pretty distant.
So that's kind of. No, but like you know what I mean. Like everybody still dresses like us, and they still talk and they live
That's
in like
kind of the
normal
sign of like,
neighborhoods.
are you in the distant future or the not too distant future?
Yeah.
What do your
Clothing.
threads look like, bruh?
Yeah, if you
Pretty
dress
much,
like
yeah.
us, then you're probably in like the relatively not too distant future.
Yeah.
If you're in some like weird suit where they don't have collars, that's when you know you're in the super future.
Yeah.
Or in silver, or you're missing
or
a
the whole world
toe
is
like in
chrome.
Fur to the Future.
Phil of the future.
Feel the
View
future.
the future,
yeah.
So
kid-
do you give it a potato?
I give it a potato.
I give it a potato.
I give it a whole potato. So that's another 3 potato
Rosalie
film.
wants us to go and ourselves. She's got her opinions.
She really didn't like Tao.
She's like, "What do you guys mean? Roma was a master."
That's exactly yeah.
I talked to Weinstein about it. Just
Oh
over
my
the phone.
God.
Jesus Christ.
She's just an old.
We kind of had another.
But you know
like,
what? For viewer submissions,
Not bad.
2 out of 3 of them, really
Not-
good
yeah.
picks.
Thank
The
you.
one that was the most highly critically acclaimed, absolute dog.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens.
Not yeah, and I actually heard people talking about it in a class about Roma and how it was weird, but like it was avant-garde and stuff, and I was just like, that just sounds
no,
like
it
dog
was
shit.
totally going
Yeah.
for like this artistic,
When you start saying stuff, it's like, oh, but it's almost like if you start saying, oh, but it's this, you're just making
Oh, but it's
excuses for a
this.
dog movie.
yeah.
I don't know, you guys.
It's kind of like the phrase, "Well, it's a movie, bro." Like that
it
doesn't.
that honestly, I feel like that argument works though for some movies.
For
like
some.
It
some
absolutely
movies
does not.
it
Very
has to.
rarely.
There's a chance to explain everything when you make a film.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know.
And the writing
Some
is dog
things-
in that
The
movie.
writing is absolute dog.
All right, well let's
Okay, let's
go,
get
go
into it.
into
Let's get into
Roma
Roma.
so
Go
that
into
way we
Roma.
can
Let's
get
go-
this done.
let's tear it up.
0 potatoes for Roma, 3 potatoes for Abduction in Plain
Perfect
Sight,
rating.
and Tao.
Perfect rate. Two
So,
perfect ratings again.
Yeah,
Perfect
so pretty good.
potatoes.
Because if you
suggestions.
didn't watch the 2 episodes ago to the very end, Eddie changed his rating. So
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's
he's
see
a-
if
'cause
he
he's a
tries to
liar.
talk
I'm
us
probably
into
not
giving a
going to.
potato for Roma.
I don't want any potatoes
But,
for Roma.
but
I
that's a
didn't
good sign.
enjoy
That
Roma.
means that
Yeah.
you guys are suggesting decent movies two times out of 3. So,
Yeah. Who
get
are
those
the-
numbers up, you rookies.
who are the names of our commenters? It was Kathy and then
And Evan.
And Evan. Thank you, Kathy and Evan, for
I
submitting.
know who
movies.
Evan is.
I also know who Evan is.
I know.
And
I know
He's
who
a
Kathy
funny
is.
dude, and he likes movies too.
Yep.
He considers himself quite the movie connoisseur. So
And his
Evan,
name is not
This one's for
Ryan.
you, one for the homie. I'm not pouring it out.
Pour it out.
And
All right, so
all right, go on.
So
Let's
Roma.
touch
Here we go,
Um,
Roma. Eddie's here to keep me and Jordan on track. 'cause
yeah,
last
we're
time
really
we
not going
went
to spend
off.
too much time on Roma because
no.
it was such
Yeah.
dog
Such
from the
dog
beginning.
so
It,
boring.
it
So-
opens with
Opens with 3 minutes of the ground with
of
water.
just like tiles in
with
black
no
and white.
music.
And,
Just
like,
because they
random-
said, you know what, this is the apt time to throw all our credits in one place. So we get a really boring, just
maybe Eddie.
long...
Is there like a thing that like it's symbolic because all the credits are at the beginning, or is it just because he's a piece of?
It might be like he's trying to be artsy and reference older movies. Like older movies did that. You'd have
they had a better way. They had music to accompany that. It was better.
Like the only thing that jumps out of my mind, she's a maid, so like cleaning floors all day is her life. So it kind of makes sense why that's the first thing you open with. But
why make us feel the monotony of her job?
But 3 minutes of it, you don't need it. You could do
a
montage.
It was fine. It'd be fine if there was like
and like do all that.
But you can't do a montage because he decided that what he wanted to do was like a single shot to sort of introduce her as a character. So it starts with 3 minutes of staring straight at the ground, and then occasionally water comes towards a drain. Then it tilts up to reveal her cleaning, follows her as she goes to the bathroom, stays outside for like 15 to 20 seconds, fastest piss ever.
Yeah.
She walks out, walks into another building.
She just
and then like
sat down and went
walks into the other building. Then we linger there for another like 10 to 15 seconds, and then it cuts. So it's like a solid 7 or 8 minutes of one shot.
And I love one shots, but not when they're boring.
It had nothing to do with anything.
Nothing.
Also,
I mean, I get we're seeing her day to day. It's her day to day routine, but it's just like when we don't know. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, let's go.
So we were just talking about the dogs. I want to get into the obvious thing, and I really want you to weigh in as like a person who knows a lot about like symbolism and.
Yeah, sure, go on.
Why the black and white? Why is the film in black and white? Why are films?
It's artsy, bro.
Is that really the reason?
That's what I'm assuming. I don't
just doesn't
see anything else.
do
reason
anything
why.
for me, man.
Like, if a movie's gonna be in black and white, I feel like there needs to be a real person.
There are
you can't just
decent
do it
reasons
just to
for
do
movies to be black and white. One of them is like noir. So like that whole style requires you to be either in black and white or to have lots of heavy shadow. So it works when it's black and white. There's also German expressionism. So like that Edward Scissorhands looking at shit that Tim Burton does. He does it in a more colorful way. But there's been some times where he's done it black and white. Like Frankenweenie's black and white. Mm-hmm. That's a great example.
But
there you go.
Frankenweenie's
black and white.
Should have been black and white.
And makes sense why it's black and white.
Because it's like reminiscent of a classic horror.
Again, Roma is taking place in the 70s. If he was trying to be like correct to that time period with like the type
but
of...
it's still like in
No,
HD,
it wouldn't make sense.
Like,
it wouldn't make sense to use black and white either because like it would have made sense to like shoot on a like
grainy
80 millimeter or something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just artsy. Sometimes
just don't like
when
the
I'm
black and
lazy,
white.
I think to myself, that's a great way of making it seem more artsy. Just make it all black and white.
So you could say that in this instance, it might be just laziness.
Yeah. It sounds like that's what it is. It looks like that's what it is. I didn't watch the whole movie. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I got really bored of it pretty fast.
It's so bad. Well, because it's not. It has no plot. It's not plot driven. As much as it is,
it's a character study.
It's character driven.
It's very character driven. But
it's okay when you establish a character. At
this
the
is
beginning.
like a movie I think that's big for actors, and that's what.
Well,
that's
it just
why
felt like Oscar bait.
Yeah, and that
like,
means
I'm like,
exactly.
Oh, great bait,
so I
mate,
think it was big for actors. It's a movie for like the guy who wants to like have fun, doing really.
There's nothing fun about this.
Well,
movie.
there's a subtlety in acting that's super hard to do, and that's what's getting them off. That subtlety, that ability to actually play a real human being sad about. That's actually really hard.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't blame the actors at all for how boring it was.
But that's why it's so boring though. Like they're having fun doing something that's actually hard to do compared to like having fun and being like I'm a knight smash.
Yeah.
You know, like I can imagine that's hard too in its own way. But like when you're trying to play like a really boring regular person, you got to find a way to put yourself in that mindset. And I think that's why everybody was just like, oh my god, look at all this hard work they put into making this artsy.
But then why though did he win Best Director?
That's a part of it too. Directors have to be able to like tell that story.
I guess, but it didn't really come together in like a really clean way that I felt like
because I feel like there's a good way to do like character driven stories where you've kind of followed their day to day.
Yeah, there's definitely
But I mean, like I'm down to follow their day to day, but there needs to be some conflict at some point, which we do get for this movie. But
for like
it's just so
third act.
Like the conflict comes like an hour into the movie, and then it's just the conflict is so like drawn out and slow. Like it's just boring. Like it's like, I mean, I'm not an Oscar award-winning actor. I may not know what I'm talking about, but I know what movies are good. You know, at least I have my own opinion.
I mean, you have
Vice should have swept. By the way,
Vice.
Vice was outstanding.
Which Vice? Which movie?
That's the one about Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
It was so good.
But
that should have been. Ugh.
But like, it's just the writing and the pacing of this movie is so slow. It drags, and it doesn't help that a lot of the shots in these movies are wide and then they're just long shots.
Yeah, well,
so
after a character walks out of a scene, he'll just hold it
for no reason.
For like 5 to 10 seconds sometimes.
He's a lingerer.
Like when they're like out playing, he'll just like have a shot of the toys for like 15 seconds and then it goes to them.
Okay.
Or like she just finished doing chores, let's just stare at the sink for 10 seconds. Like I was like, dude, get the let's go. It didn't need to be 2 hours and 15 minutes. This was an hour 45 movie with bullshit filling in the whole rest of it.
Yeah, that was another thing too. I was like, this movie's 2 hours. And then I'm sitting there and like I literally like kept checking the time because that's how slow this movie was. I'm like, how much do I have left? Like what? This is ridiculous. And then so you just follow her day to day. Main plot, we'll just jump there because really nothing else happens. There's 2 plots. There's Cleo's conflict that happens, and then there's also the side conflict of the family she works for. So Cleo gets, Cleo's dating this guy who turns out to be a piece of
Shocker.
Gets her pregnant, leaves her. So she's alone, being, going to struggle to be a single mom. And then the other conflict is the dad of the family that she works for is a scientist or something, and he left for work, but it seems like he left the family.
Yeah.
Like he's not coming back. But
or like when he does come back, it's like so long in between the periods that they just don't know if he's coming back.
Yeah, and so, you kind of get this vibe, like, is he leaving family? Like, and I'll say, too, I didn't finish this movie because there came a point, which we'll get to.
I'm the only one dedicated enough to stick through Roma for you.
Yeah.
You rat bastards.
But I turned the movie off because something happens in the movie that I literally could not stomach just watching the rest because I thought, you know what, this movie's trash. I can't imagine this getting better. So I just turned it off. But we'll
got
get
worse
there.
from there.
We'll get there. But, yeah. So
we don't really need to get into the plot. It. Let's just go straight to
it's so depressing that it's
sad.
Not worth it.
It's not worth it.
I don't, unless you're like a guy or a gal who like is like, I love artistic movies that serve no purpose.
I still don't see how this movie is artistic.
Like I said,
it's about the long drawn out shots in black and white. That's literally all he did.
I think that's trash.
It's about being.
It's about being symbolism.
It's about being really, really.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. It's like this is the day in the life of a Mexican in Mexico in the 1970s. But give me like a reason to care, because not.
There's also a random.
I also wonder if
at no point in this movie did I feel like, wow, this
kind of like hit and miss too, because like maybe it missed us. We were not into it.
True.
Some people might have been really into it.
No, and yeah, I guess that's fair because everyone's got their own interpretation of like what is artistic and what isn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some guy who's like has a bunch of really good reasons why this movie's symbolically like dope. I'm just not that guy. So.
If you are one of those people and you want to enlighten us, please comment because we really just didn't get it.
Yeah, we didn't get it, honestly. I didn't get anything.
I just didn't want to get it by a certain point in the movie. I want to give every movie a shot.
Yeah.
And
I try to, obviously there were good things about this movie, but it sucks because the good things that I liked ended up getting overused. So like the long shots that went on for so long and followed people, just one shots. There's too many, and it just went on too long, and it's like they didn't need to be
just
there.
like shut the up, guys. You're on my favorite movie.
My favorite movie. I love
Rosalie loved Roma.
Rosalie loved Roma because it starts with the 2 letters of her name.
Yep.
Oh, that's fair.
And then when that baby died, she was like,
yeah, and okay, we'll jump there. You know what? Because I'm not going to spend time on this movie.
Yeah, she loses the baby.
Yeah, so the baby
she loses the baby.
It dies when she gives birth.
So the baby that she got, that the conflict is based on, because it's like going to be like, oh, she's now got to face being a single mother. The whole like line of conflict that this movie is based on falls out of the roof because, hey, let's just kill the baby that is supposed to be the silver lining of this movie.
Which you'd think would be the end. It's not. It keeps going for another half hour, 45 from there.
And like that's the point where I turned the movie off because, for me, it's like, this baby is supposed to be the silver lining. She gets shit on the whole movie. She goes through the worst things. Bad luck seems to follow her. And the kind of vibe you get is, okay, well, the baby's going to be the silver lining for her. No, they kill that off too. And like, I'm kind of amazed that the director won an Oscar because I don't really think this was a good.
Win an Oscar. He won the Oscar.
For best director. Yeah, I don't think he should have got it because honestly, the decision to show the audience a baby being delivered and then also showing it trying to be revived as well, I didn't need to see that.
I mean, well, that's a question of like how you react to it because that's a
because you could have cut away to it and like and said like, oh, by the way, the baby didn't make it. It would have the same effect. Here, hold on. So we're back. Sorry.
Yeah, we're back.
So
the baby dies.
and it doesn't get better from there.
The baby died, guys. That's why you don't hear
It
it
doesn't
no more.
get any better from there.
It
and
really
it's just
does.
ridiculous.
I don't like the director's choice of you could have killed the baby and that would be fine. I didn't need to see the dead baby getting delivered and being resuscitated.
Well, okay, that's where I was gonna go.
I don't think I needed to see that.
I want to disagree with you, not because I'm like, oh, I totally want to see the dead baby, but because like there is an emotional driver behind that.
Yeah.
It's the one time I was like, oh man, I really feel for this character finally.
Finally.
Because she's going through so much finally.
Yeah. That might be just me.
But
my
that's it.
personal
Like
thing.
that's the only time when I was like, oh, poor her. The rest
Yeah.
of the time I was like, poor me for having to watch this.
Yeah, this movie's garbage.
It's
You
trash.
get a swinging for like 10 minutes. That doesn't need to be
he's
there.
doing like sword fighting.
You were
or
all for
something.
Chris Pratt when he was sword fighting and showing his swinging.
Not
It was
Chris
Chris Pratt.
Pratt,
Chris
Pine.
Pine.
Yeah, but that's different. It fit
You wanted
because
that
this
Pine-
is during the time when they used to do that. This guy.
Oh yeah, in the Middle Ages, everybody pulled
No,
their
no,
out.
pulled their out in the 70s.
No, but like they
it
used
never
to-
happened.
No, what I'm saying is like when they used to like bathe in the rivers and
Boogie
shit like
nights,
that,
baby.
And it was like, I don't know how to explain it, but there was no purpose for
What
me to
if
see
that-
dick
I
in this
agree, no,
movie.
it
Honestly,
didn't-
though,
it didn't
I
really
do
do
think that
anything.
scene is only there to reference Boogie Nights.
It's not.
Reference what?
Because he's
Boogie
literally
Nights.
doing martial arts and talking about how
Yeah, he's
important
literally
martial
doing
arts is in
naked
his
No,
life.
I get that, but Boogie Nights also has a dude.
Why would Alfonso
out.
Cuarón in his
Think so.
Oscar award-winning film reference Boogie Nights?
Because it's Boogie Nights. What do you mean?
it's
That's
Boogie
that's
Nights.
an
That's a
Oscar award-winning
stupid
film.
It's trash.
It's
There's a lot
garbage.
of
Boogie Nights? What are you talking about?
There's a lot of no, not Boogie Nights. I'm talking
Oh,
about-
Roma. Okay,
yeah,
Roma's trash. Yeah,
and
Roma.
that was trash.
Boogie Nights is a good movie. Go watch Boogie Nights.
It's just the writing was
Mark
trash.
Wahlberg.
Like a lot
love
of things
Mark
were
Wahlberg.
not written well. Like
It just
Well,
wasn't.
he blinded a Vietnamese man
It's
when
just
he was
not
in his
good.
teenage years.
What are you going on
You
about?
never know
are you
that?
still talking about Boogie Nights?
I'm talking about
my
Mark Wahlberg and how
God.
he blinded a Vietnamese man when he was in his 20s.
Can we get off of Roma?
Yeah,
I'm
move
so
on.
over
Roma
it.
wasn't good.
Let's talk
Don't-
about a
I mean,
good
and here's the-
sci-fi.
and we'll say we're not the final say.
Tao?
If you want to watch Roma, go ahead and watch it.
Then
We
let
thought
us
it was
know.
trash.
I
You
thought it was
should watch
garbage.
Tao.
Tao
Yes,
is great.
definitely
Let's go
watch
with
Tao.
Tao. I'm gonna take over now
Yeah,
since
go
Tao was
ahead.
mine.
Go do Tao.
I liked Tao a lot. It's like a movie that I would suggest because it's
What?
cool.
Oh, you just looked at me.
I'm
Said-
just
And,
waiting.
looked at me and smiled at me.
I'm
Made me
waiting.
feel
It's
good
about
inside.
We have a
this-
continuity
we
issue
meet
on our
this,
show.
We meet this girl. What was the name?
When
of
you
it?
notice it, you let me know.
What happened? I noticed it. I just noticed it.
Now they're going to be confused.
Yep. It's gonna cut suddenly, and there's gonna be different pops.
What was I gonna say? You guys me up.
He's gonna die.
What was the name
He's
of the main
dying.
character? What was the name of the main character again?
Is Jessica
Julia.
Julia?
Julia.
Yeah,
Julia.
Julia.
Julia is our main character,
Or
and we
should have
meet
been
her
Captain
right
Marvel.
away.
Yeah.
And we see that she's a crafty person. She is either working as a hooker or pretending to be a hooker.
No,
and
No,
then-
she's
robbing
a pickpocketer.
people.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but like she's pretending to get men first. And
Oh,
then she
yeah, when it
robs
opens
them.
Well,
up.
she's not pretending. She does get them.
I know. That's why I'm unsure if she's pretending to be
Let
a
him
hooker
go.
or
Just
if she's
let him-
just
just let him run
robbing
with
them. Point is, she's a pickpocket and she works for like a madame or something. It doesn't really
Madame.
matter because none of that.
Well, she's
comes
too
up.
good for that anyway.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
too good.
she's trying
Which
to
is a
get
literal
into.
line.
She's trying to get into art school. We know that.
Is that really what it is?
There's
I didn't know that.
There
I
is
didn't know
a
that.
flyer on her refrigerator that says the art school she's trying to get into. And that's what she's saving the money up for.
I
At least
didn't know
that's
that.
what I telegraphed.
You know
from
what?
the
That
fact-
makes sense because of how good she is at drawing the Earth.
Yeah,
That's true. Oh, yeah. How
That-
great.
I'm just saying
House.
that telegraph that like, it was just telegraphed the way that they show first that little slip on her door and then they show her money.
See, that level of subtlety in your exposition is exactly what Roma needed.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Like, yeah.
and then she's just hanging out. But before then, we had noticed a shadowy individual.
Ooh.
You're wiggling the mic.
And the next thing we know, somebody breaks into her house, and then she
gets
fucking
gatted.
knocked out.
Yeah.
Gah, gah, gah.
And next thing we know, she's
really.
on a table, this
Yeah.
weird high tech table. She's got a weird like mouth ball gag thing,
Like
so
Hannibal
they can
Lecter
force
style.
feed
If you know what I mean.
so they can force feed her food when they want to. And she's got this like weird yellow chip in the back of her neck,
Yep.
a la Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now they can talk to him.
Yeah, and they're like, it looks like they're sucking her memories out of her.
That's what I thought.
And that's what
Well, that's what they're doing, 'cause they're trying to-
It's pretty much
They're
similar
mapping
concept.
the neural
Yeah.
pathways of the brain so that they can recreate it in an
his
artificial
way
intelligence.
seems to be pretty like stupid and possibly prone because he's a psychopath.
Well,
Yeah.
he's for sure on the spectrum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like later on, when
was
we
probably
see,
vaccinated.
Later on, when we see how easy it was to do it, just using like puzzles and shit, though, it makes
Yeah.
it seem like he's an asshole and he's just
Well, he
nuts.
kidnap people and do that way than do the work of
The
having people.
like
the
paying
kidnapping
people
didn't let
and,
you in that he's an asshole.
Well,
It's a
you know what I
classic
mean?
baby killing scene.
like
Yeah,
you get
classic.
this interpretation right off the beginning that maybe this is like a super like secretive and hard thing to do, and he needs to do all this. Like midway through the movie, you realize these are puzzles she's solving. So like, couldn't you just hire some teenagers and like explain to them this
or even
situation?
better,
They
like,
have a
they can
bunch
get
of other
chimps at the
subjects.
zoo to do that.
Yeah,
You don't even need a
well, no,
person
you
for
need
that.
you need a human brain for it.
Yeah, but they can work up to it. Then you can build on an established.
Well,
like,
I
think they've
just
gotten to
assumed
that
that the
point, and
puzzles
that's
got.
why-
I assumed the puzzles got harder.
we never actually get a real good explanation of what the puzzles are.
Yeah, that also
just
is
that
not
she's
in it.
hella good at them.
Just
Yeah,
they
and that
prove
her
like her
trauma,
cognitive abilities.
Her trauma in
Her
life
trauma growing
also
up
is very
made
important.
her problem solving skills like through the roof.
Yeah.
And so it actually
He
helps
also
her in the
alludes
end.
to like the actual problem is that like part of it he needs to keep Tao dumb. That's why he doesn't
Yeah.
let
Well,
him know
yeah.
about the other outside the house. And then also
We've kind of gotten ahead.
He needs to keep Tao. Well, yeah, we should go back.
Yeah, kind of.
So she gets abducted.
Yeah.
And she,
Memories
so,
are
like,
sucked out.
Real quick, she tries to escape. That actually happens really fast. I like that because it.
Yeah.
Well, that's
keeps us
exactly what
waiting.
she would do. Yeah,
And
that's in
and yeah,
character.
it is very much in character. She's very much like a boss Furiosa-esque character. She just does what she needs to do to get out. But yeah, she blows up the secret lab, but ends up inadvertently getting the other two prisoners that we meet killed.
Like those guys, their dialogue was from the beginning. They were like,
Yeah,
"Oh, we're
they're-
not trying to
Yeah, they
escape
all
the
kinda
cops."
pussied
They're
out
acting
pretty
It's
not
like,
good.
bruh, the cops ain't coming. You're a loser.
and then
Yeah.
we meet.
They were
this
very bland.
So we meet Tao, and Tao is the house, and like the house is this AI.
Isn't it Gary Oldman's voice?
I'm
Yep,
not
it's
sure.
Gary Oldman's
is
voice.
it Gary Oldman's voice?
Yep.
It is Gary Oldman's voice.
credited.
That's cool.
Better than Gertie in Moon, who was a
And-
rapist.
We
Separate
don't
the
know
art from
that.
the artist.
Kevin Spacey was a rapist. We know that.
Gertie,
Yeah, but separate
Gertie
the art
was
from the
coming
artist.
out of a closet, and no.
No. Gertie was a dope AI.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Tao is a
likes
AI
music.
house
Yeah.
who likes music, and
Loves music.
he actually gets fed music. I thought that was cool.
delicious, bro.
Like how he's
I
like,
never ate music
oh here,
before.
you can have some music, Tao. And he's like, oh no, I like that. But Tao's an
That
AI,
didn't happen.
and Tao.
Yeah, it
no, it
did.
just happened.
He says num 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 num.
No, he
don't know
doesn't
if
say
that
num
happened
at
at
all.
all.
But he pretty much
gets
eats
fed
the music.
yes.
Like he's like, music, good. But then she gets the other two people killed, and we see that Tao can become this.
Yeah, this big
Thankfully.
crazy robot thing
called
that just.
Ares.
That's Ares, that's not
Marries.
Tao. But Tao controls him.
We're not switching universes.
But yeah, it's called Ares. I thought that was
just
shit.
ganks him.
He also has these little robot
Little drones?
that go around and clean stuff, and he's a super
become
intelligent
important later.
AI.
Yeah.
What
And
is
so
this,
like
some kind of Tao?
Yeah, they said his
And
name.
then-
They said the name of the movie in the movie. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it kind of bothered me.
but
I
yeah,
was saving that for Abducted in Plain Sight, but it's too serious of a film.
we get to the point
joke.
where
The Reddit community jokes about that movie.
fair.
We could joke
That's
about
fair.
it.
where the weird creepy guy, what's his name? Alex.
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 And
Played
these
by
are-
Ed
He's
Skrein.
like a Steve Jobs
He's not
type.
scrawny. He's actually
No,
really
his-
built.
His name is Ed Skrein.
Ed Skrein.
Oh, Ed
It's not
Skrein.
Beast
Yeah.
from First Class.
Oh,
which I thought
no,
it
that's
was.
Nick Holt.
It does
It's
not look.
Nick Holt.
Yeah,
it looks like
isn't-
Nick Holt, but it is not.
It's
Nick
not
Holt.
him,
It took
though.
me a few scenes before I was
Yeah.
like, that's not Nick
He
Holt.
looks very much
That's the other
like
guy.
him, though.
Is Ed Skrein in Alita Battle Angel?
He
I didn't
might
see
be.
it.
He might be in a Little Battle Angel.
I thought that he was one of the
yeah, he's the guy
Hunter
who
Warriors.
he's one of the guys with all the pincer arms and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
he's
thought
one of
so.
those guys.
I mean, maybe I'll have to check.
No, it is Ed Skrein. I remember they announced it. When
we can
he
check. I can
first
check it
coming
if
out.
you want.
But
I'll
go
do that
for
while
it.
you talk.
But yeah, so you guys keep getting me off track.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, you.
I didn't say. Don't include me in that.
Alex comes back.
Boom! Alita Battle Angel.
Alex comes
That's what I'm
back.
talking about.
There you go.
The answer was yes.
Ed Skrein
The
did
answer was
Alita.
Yes.
You just said Alita Battle Angel. Boom! You didn't say anything about
Yep,
Ed Skrein.
that movie sucked too, but
You- I haven't watched
that
it yet.
movie!
I haven't watched it to actually defend it, but I've heard from someone with Jordan's taste that it was good. That's why I'm like, what the
the action scenes were good. The dialogue was written by a 4-year-old.
Let's get back to Tao.
A better robot.
So Tao is an AI, and he's super advanced, and he runs the house.
Yep.
And this whole experiment is to develop enough algorithms that they can get him to work properly, because he's pretty much a child. He doesn't know anything about the world.
He doesn't know anything. Well, he's cut off on purpose.
He only does.
Well, they're trying to build an AI that's like perfect.
Yeah,
he was saying it like fails 10% of the time. And
yeah,
like, we can't have
a part
that.
of it is because like obviously if an AI knows that it's an AI, it eventually is like, well, I want to be a person and all that.
Which she immediately goes, "You're a person."
A lot of
that's manipulative.
Whoa.
Well, I think it's because she like assumed he was that level of intelligent.
No, she did it to manipulate him
she
so
did
that
it
she can get out.
could be on an
No,
equal playing field
the
with him.
first time she says you're a person, or at least it seemed like she
she was equating having a name to being a person.
Yeah, I think she thought Tao was
like,
way
I'm
higher
not
intelligent.
Subject 3, I am Julia.
Yeah.
Just like you have a name, we are people.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, but she was just trying to manipulate him.
No, I don't think that first movement was a manipulation. Later on, it was a manipulation, and like slightly her becoming his friend, like actually caring about him. But that first move, it sounded like
I think it's the opposite. I think she was manipulating him, but then slowly became her friend.
He just called you a bitch.
Both maybe, but like I just assumed because Tao's so capable. The first time we meet him, I assumed that Tao just was like this free thinking robot that did whatever the wanted, but like maybe there were these rules in place that it couldn't break.
Yeah.
And there are some of those rules in place. Like,
but his
later.
way of punishing him is super weird.
Yeah, and that's again proof that Alex is a psychopath and maybe does all this on his own like hardness of just wanting to be a sick mother. And like this just gets him off because at no point like
he just
feel
likes
like
having control. He has a god complex.
There's a lot of like evidence from like all of the different ways that he ends up doing it that he could have done a much safer, less creepy way of all of this.
Yeah, but he's also on a timeline.
Yeah, he's also on a timeline.
He's got like 10 days
so some
or
background
something.
for Alex is that he's a very esteemed scientist
He's like a
in terms
Steve
of
Jobs.
AI.
But apparently he f***ed up
Bill
because this
Gates
is the
type.
last time.
he's
No
the
second
Steve Jobs
chances.
of AI.
He f***ed up though because this is the last time. No second chances.
They're like no more.
Well, what I don't. That's what kind of what I
is
don't
like,
understand because he's the CEO of that company.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean a CEO can't be taken away from.
No,
the
they
company.
can. There can be
totally
a vote
f***
of
him up.
confidence and just get him out of the
Yeah.
company.
Okay.
But he
He
can
can-
just start a competing company
He
and
sounds
produce
like he's.
AI.
He sounds like he's doing some straight up like what's his name Tesla.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Elon
He's
Musk.
doing some very
Bro,
Elon Musk things where
Elon is on
he's
IO,
got-
so
too powerful and he's like just runs the whole thing to an absurd degree and it's starting to cause problems for himself. Because like they also bring up like he had like every single part of the ad that they showed him like already like thought out.
yeah.
And he was disappointed with the bullcrap
Well,
one.
he
that
was
they
like, "Why'd
showed
we
him,
go with
yeah.
that voice package? I wanted a different one."
Like I already
or
said
whatever."
like 7 months ago that I didn't like that one. So like there's all
They've
this
got
about
a
him being
deadline.
like
They're-
a crazy dude who's
Yeah.
like super into all this. But yeah, so
kind of
she and Tao
Yeah, he's
end up working together because she's like forced to participate in these puzzles now that the
Yeah, because he's
lab was
got to get the
destroyed.
AI complete within a certain time.
Yeah.
That's why he's not just gonna murder
And she's
her.
really smart and
she up his lab.
yeah, and she his lab so
In
he
the
can't
explosion
just
that
pull
she
it out of
escape,
her.
in the escape, she blows up most of his lab, and that's why he's like, "Well, got to do this the old-fashioned
Otherwise,
way."
he'd be
which is
just
the
like
puzzle.
yanking it out of them and then killing
with a little
them.
chip in the back of her head.
But this apparently is more a better way of getting the
it
info.
turns out that it works better for the programming to learn when she does it manually instead of by force.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then like her time spent with Tal, she realizes a whole bunch of stuff about Tal that like he's the degree of smart that he is and that he's been kept ignorant because of all this.
Yeah.
She really cleverly tricks him a whole bunch of times, Alex specifically, I mean, to like find out more about Tao. And then we just get to know Tao and he's like just this like
He's like a child.
he's a child. He doesn't understand
He's a
anything.
really smart child who's capable of solving complex problems, but incapable of like exploring the world outside of the walls that confine him to the building.
He doesn't even register that anything exists outside of the house that he is.
Like he knows Alex leaves, but like he doesn't like understand that concept.
Yeah, which I do have a question for when we get to like when we talk about when Eddie gets to the end. I have a question about that because there's something I'm thinking about that doesn't necessarily.
Please
make
save
sense,
all
but-
questions for the end.
Yeah, I'll save it.
Well, let's keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they practice. They get pretty good. She starts finessing him because they come up with a mutual understanding. He can't read any of the books in the library. She can, so he
just
reads
dusts
him
them.
the books, and now he knows context to all these things that he's either sort of known through the music that he's being fed by Alex.
Yeah.
So like he's asking all about like whoa, like what's the song like that I know? Who's this person? And
And he loves the romantic period.
yeah, and he's learning about the world and like what it means to be a person and like how human beings were created. So like, he's getting basic understanding of the world. and from that it seems like he's he's just getting really happy, and he comes to really care about her, and it seems like they're trying to tell a love story almost.
Actually, I was going to bring up a point to the opposite. I loved that they had an AI person relationship that didn't end with her trying to like be in a romantic relationship with it.
It
Like they
seemed
genuinely
like
seemed
they
to be
were
a budding
close to
friendship.
it, but I don't know. At times I felt like I'm guessing like it never could work out because like she's too up and he's a robot, obviously.
Yeah, well, the only time they even
But,
ever
like,
come
that
close
whole-
to that is when he's showing her everything that he learned, and he has like a little
And he has
physical
that little-
representation.
yeah, that's
of
what I-
because
that-
that's
but-
how much
but
more
that-
I thought
developed
that was
he
a
is.
really close to like he
Yes
physically
and
cares
no.
about her.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he might be closer to a love type relationship.
She
than
might. She isn't. I didn't feel
I
that
think
from
that
her.
she for
No.
sure
Yeah.
was like he's friend zoned immediately.
Yeah, you're a f***ing robot.
Yeah.
But she still cares about him.
I
in
kind of
like
was
a
like,
friend
he should
way.
totally gank Alex and upload his mind to his body.
I was genuinely
and, that'd
waiting
be dope.
for no, because then she'd have to like love her,
yeah, that's the
captor,
only. That's the only
which
problem.
is a
with it,
real
yeah.
f***ed up
But
concept.
then it also kind of seemed like they were hinting that there could be a possibility that Alex had more humanity and that it could swerve and like all of
Yeah.
a sudden they have a thing. But then that didn't happen at
No.
all. Alex is just a total psychopath.
he's
Yeah.
crazy.
He does lots of creepy staring that
Yeah.
so it shows that
He has a very big god complex.
A lot of-
because
a lot of,
because he's a creator.
Well,
That's
like
what he
we're
is.
supposed to get the idea that like he's just like he's in between wanting to like kill her and sort of falling in love with her.
Yeah.
And like in between that is wanting to rape her. And
Yeah,
that's
which-
kind of the feeling that I
I
got.
get that vibe.
Because I remember I made a note
He reminds
that
me
I really
of,
hope that there wasn't like.
Have you seen Alien Covenant? He reminds
I'll
me
wait.
of that character that Michael Fassbender plays.
I'll wait.
The robot. Yeah, he reminds me of him.
I made a note that I really was hoping that there
Should've
wasn't
ran
going to be a romance between the captive and the captor because
Well,
like
Stockholm syndrome's a thing.
Stockholm
yeah,
syndrome.
yeah, and I think
But
just,
also they
it's
had
just
this
because
weird
watching
sort of,
Abducted
like,
in Plain
he
Sight,
had
I didn't want to
something
see that
she
again.
needed, and she had something he needed, so like maybe
Yeah.
their messed up relationship works out because like they both.
No,
were
I was
probably
super
abused.
glad how it ended for him.
Oh yeah, f- him.
Yeah.
I like that ending where he's just like, "Help me," and he gets crushed. F- you.
Well,
Yeah.
there's okay,
Wilhelm
there's
screamed
context to
too.
that.
That was his scream.
Yes.
Was the
I
one
heard the
that-
had
Wilhelm.
to know.
And I, you know, I said it, and my girlfriend was like, "What's the Wilhelm scream?" And I was like, "Pause. We're gonna go on a
That was the
20-minute
best.
adventure.
That
learning
was the
about what
best bitch
Wilhelm
way to kill him too. Like he dies by Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, I wrote a note that said like whoop his ass, Julia. And
Oh
then
yeah,
he
she
gets,
did whoop his.
She
Too. I like
fucking
and then he
that.
gets
him.
crushed, and I put in all
Well,
caps.
you know what?
Wilhelm.
I also like her like arming up scenes.
But
She did have a lot of
also,
those.
No, because he was gonna inject her because basically he
Well, he's
found
gonna
out
take the chip out.
He found out that Tao had been working with her, and he did
Yeah,
a whole
they
thing.
were
where
completely erased
he
everything.
was erasing all of his memories, which
Except
we'll get to. when we-
everything that he's
but-
everything that he knows of Julia so far.
Well, also, but it's important to notice that one of the drones has
Oh, yeah.
the network disconnected.
So during
he was able
during
to back
this
up all of his
point where
memories to
he's
this little drone.
during this point where he's realized that Tao has gotten too close to Julia, he's fixing up the lab, and Tao's just like trying to kiss up, and he comes in with one of the drones, like, "Hey man, can I help out?" And he just grabs that little drone and pulls off the chip that connects it to the rest of the network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that drone is still like
It still has
Tao.
all of Tao's
It's
memories
Tao for like the
and-
last
It's just
couple
not-
of
it's not
hours and
connected
days.
to the rest of Tao.
So like Tao pretty much has a save point, which saves him
Yes.
from like the later death that he sort of gets.
And it ends up helping Julia to escape when she gets like
Yeah.
pinned to a table, and he's going to inject her
It's-
with something so he can rip the thing
It's
out of her
able to
neck.
give her the little remote
Right.
release to the
So-
And
cuffs.
that's an important detail
And it
too,
helps-
is that
yeah.
she finds out that once you remove the chip, you die, pretty much.
Yes.
yes, that
Yeah, it'll kill
Tao
her.
explains
which
that,
we
though.
kind of got that because we see a couple of the bodies and we actually
And we
see
also
the
see
chip.
her. She
Well, they
goes
were
through
dead
the
before.
files and sees all the deceased people
Yeah.
that he's taken the memories
And we
from.
see an X-ray of the chip, and that's in
No,
their
it's-
brain.
yeah, it's
That's
in
just
the
not
brain,
coming
yeah.
out. Yeah.
But here's
Which
where I
her
had
whole
an
life
issue.
is gonna. She's gonna have that chip for the whole life.
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
much.
much. Well, she'll probably figure something out. Or
I
they
mean, what
just
like
turn it off.
does that mean like her and Tao are connected then?
Probably?
in a sense,
Yeah.
maybe.
Curious about that.
So
because
she-
if
she
you're trying to
breaks-
make Tao a better AI, whatever she learns and experiences,
This-
he's gonna retroactively.
Well, they need to
learn,
find
so-
a more permanent place for him.
Yeah, they need to put him into something.
That
He
little
can't be in
drone is
that
not
little
gonna.
drone.
It doesn't have enough
Like-
physical storage for the
Yeah,
level.
and I'm
of,
sure it needs to be charged somehow. That
Yeah.
was probably
well, really, though, all
destroyed.
you need to do is find a good enough like computer person to figure out how to get all the details onto
Yeah.
a soft program instead of like a hard program. And then
Yeah.
when he's,
Like
once he's in
Alex.
the internet, he just goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
Alex.
he's all knowing and all powerful, and he becomes God, and he kills us all.
Yeah, like Alex would probably be good at that.
Yeah,
She should have saved him.
No, but she
Alex
breaks her,
dead.
she breaks out of her
Alex.
f***ing,
I would go to that company that Alex owned and be like, "Bitch, I got your mother AI right here, but I'm running the show
guess
now."
who's CEO now.
Guess yeah, from graduate high school,
No, but she breaks out of the thing. She gets in a fist fight and whips his ass, right?
beats
And
Whips
then like
his
cuts fucking arm off.
Cuts his hand off.
Hand off,
because
that's right.
everything is a handprint scanner.
He survives that. Doesn't bleed out. Surprised me.
Doesn't inject him with the thing that was going to make her go unconscious.
Yeah.
He needs to get up.
Well, I think it might have broken in the
like,
fight.
No, because you can see it. Like it's.
Oh,
on
it's
the
still
table.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay then.
Because he needs to get up later for the plot.
Yeah, I know, and that was the thing that
That's
like
fair.
That's not fair.
Dude,
Dude, I would inject him with 4 of those mother.
But it's a
I'd be
more
like, die,
it's a more
die.
satisfying death, I think, to see him
Yeah,
get crushed.
it's just one of
It
those
was,
things
but,
where
like,
like
it could have also
would have
just
been the
cut
same
back
thing.
to him
Honestly,
unconscious on the
I'm
floor, just waking
surprised-
up and then crushed.
I'm surprised there wasn't like a change of heart moment where like Tao tricks him and cuts his hand off and like stops the remote. Like there was plenty of moments where like Tao was like
I
in
thought Tao
arm's
was gonna
length.
step
Me
in
too.
and
Yeah, I'm
do
like, why
something,
doesn't
and he
Tao
never
ever
did.
just like snap this little dickhead's
But I'm glad
neck?
he didn't though.
Especially when
It
he
kept
finds
him in
out that he's
character.
murdered people for him.
Yeah.
So like there's
Well,
a
he
point
didn't know
where
it was
Tao,
like that,
Tao
yeah.
doesn't understand life or death.
Yeah.
So when
because
he
he's secluded.
he really only understands it like within relation to himself. So like the concept of deleting memories scares the shit out of him, and that's what
Because that's how Alex punishes him.
Yeah.
Is he basically deletes his cache of memories,
And that is
he
pain and
loses the
death
RAM,
to him.
yeah, and it hurts.
And so like that
Yeah, it hurts.
is pretty much what he did to those people when he downloaded them completely and killed them. So like
He thought he
his
was making them
realization
better.
that that's what he did trips him the f out, and he has
He
this like
freaks out.
he has this whole Iron
He's like a
Giant moment
tantrum.
where he's trying to decide what he is.
I am not a gun.
Yeah. I am not a god. I am Vin Diesel.
Superman.
Is
Love
Vin
the Iron
Diesel
Giant.
voices the Iron Giant in Ready Player One though?
No.
Oh, okay, that'd
No.
be cool.
But
I am Vin Diesel.
that was a good moment though for Tao though. Just him freaking out and the whole house is freaking out.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a good moment
Yeah,
for him because you're like, oh, I feel
Yeah, it was
bad.
pretty. It was pretty dope. I like Tao in that scene. And so like she revolts.
Yeah,
Tao.
she escapes and she activates a code that's basically going to delete all of his like.
Well, it's supposed to blow up the house.
And it's supposed to destroy
And
the
at
house.
this point, it's because she has the little Tao save point
Well, it's also
with her.
important too to note that the new Tao
And he's just
is trying to kill her.
He's just he's if anything, he's more of the old Tao. He's the Tao
The
before he
original
even
Tao.
knew
He's
her.
the Tao before the memories
So he's
of
just
her.
like, I'm gonna fucking murk
So Ares
whoever I
Robot's
see.
chasing her through the
Yeah.
house, and she gets into the room so that she can activate the thing and erase Tao,
Yeah.
so that he won't try to kill her anymore.
No, she's activating the self destruct of the house, which shuts,
Well, it
which
does
shuts
Well,
both,
yeah, it
though.
shuts
does
off
both.
Tao.
It does
Yeah,
both?
it
Okay.
shuts off Tao, and it also. Wait,
Okay.
though that was
erases
kind of
Tao.
that was kind of some bullshit because it was ill timed or like ill shown because like later on we see Tao like in a final like, oh, I'm Tao, goodbye, which
Yeah.
shouldn't he have completely been erased as soon as
Yeah.
she started it because
Yes.
the Ares goes down.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ares goes down, which
so
means
that was
It's a continuity
that was
issue.
a continuity issue, but that's fine because later on it
It's a
doesn't
good
really matter.
moment.
He
Yeah.
dies.
The house falls apart. Alex
Yeah.
turns out to have been awake, and he comes back.
Well, he shows
missing
up
a hand,
right. Yeah, he's
Like he's gonna
tourniqueted
f her up. Yeah.
no, he didn't. It was just
No, he had like a rope.
Oh,
or
I didn't- I
something
thought
to
he
keep
had
it.
put something
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
But yeah,
maybe
it doesn't
some
matter
gauze.
because like he immediately gets fucking
Yeah.
smashed by
Basically, they
falling.
make eye contact, and she's like, "Fuck," and then like a piece of roof starts to fall.
Help me!
And he
And
like
his whole
trips,
house is made of cement.
And he's like, "Oh, help me!" And then Wilhelm screams as he gets crushed.
and then she like survives because like I don't know if that was like his last effort somehow, like a ghost in the machine where he just tried to save her, and that's why the wall crumbled that way just to give her like a
It was
space.
pretty convenient.
Yeah, I was like, it's either
It
him.
was a plot escape.
It was
for
either
sure.
him
Oh,
or
yeah.
it's because that was the window and she tried to break it earlier and there was a window behind that window.
I
Maybe.
guess.
Well, it was just a
it's
full
reaching.
cement wall.
Yeah, I was unsure about it.
She's like basically she draws like
It
on,
looks
on
like
the
very-
wall like I'm gonna die inside you, Tao. Like
Yeah, it looked very like
you.
what's the word? Deus Ex Machina. It was God.
It was
God out of
Deus
the
Ex
machine.
Machina.
Like out of nowhere, this like almost biblical thing
well,
saved
you
her.
know, there's actually another word for Deus Ex Machina.
God,
Plot writing.
plot writing. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this
It was a
machine,
plot
the
escape.
God
So
machine
yeah,
saved
so
her.
she's like consigned to like, all right, we're gonna die together, Tao. And then like the wall behind her crumbles, and there's like a little beam
And
of
she-
sunlight.
and she
she's
dips.
like, oh my god, the sun. That means out.
and
Yeah.
and
You
she's
find
got
out that
the
the
little
house is
save
above
point
ground the whole
Tao.
time.
yeah, and she has the little drone, so she's like, he's like, is this the world, Julia? And she's like, yeah, check it
Yeah.
out. Then she just immediately shoves him in her pants. No, that
And then
doesn't-
he just
And this is your
he just
world.
fucking used.
vibrating violently.
Oh my god.
Oh god. And they start a cam show.
And then it's the credits roll. You just hear
Oh,
doesn't
Tao!
happen.
for all 5
Tao.
minutes. Oh.
And then it actually,
Julia.
This
Oh.
and actually, by the way, this
Well,
is
and
the,
then
also
what's
the
weird,
end
though, is
to the
as
movie.
the credits roll, it just stays on the same shot of the field for
Yeah.
4 straight minutes, and then goes to black and white.
That's
and that's
not
supposed
at all
to
what
mean
happens.
something.
Oh.
All right,
That's not what
I
happened.
give
It's
this
really
movie
good.
a potato.
I give it a potato.
Well, we do that at the end, don't we?
Oh, I thought we do it after too.
Well, we didn't do it after Roma.
All right, well, because Roma. That's
No, wait, we do after everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
We
Roma.
skipped it
this-
because Roma didn't get
Yeah,
it.
Roma
no,
got
yeah,
no
Roma got
potatoes.
none. That's why.
I
Fuck Roma.
definitely gave Tao a potato.
Yeah,
me
Tao gets
too.
a potato. That was a
I
good
liked
movie.
it.
Perfect potato rating.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's a perfect movie. It had its
No.
issues.
It has that
fun, though.
place in our environment now, like that used to be direct to DVD and VHS movies.
But this
that
one's
now
straight
it's
to
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's Netflix, and that's fine. It works out there, and it was a cool movie because like I didn't have to go to the theaters. I would have enjoyed it at theaters. Not saying it wouldn't have. It's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cinematic.
I would have seen this in theaters.
But just for a Netflix movie, yeah, it's dope.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
yeah, I like it.
If it was on Redbox and I like was that type of guy, I'd buy it on Redbox.
I hope
or
they
rent it on Redbox.
recast Brie Larson and put her as Captain Marvel. I really do.
What is
Also,
your-
love the cleavage in Tao. There was a lot of cleavage in Tao. They didn't need it, but I liked it. And the only time she didn't have
They didn't
cleavage
need it,
was
but I
when she was
liked it.
trying to hide it from Alex, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
She let Tao see all that cleave, though.
All the time.
Cloud's just getting.
I'm actually kind of upset that you think that they were like falling in love. I genuinely think it was a friendship.
It was a bit of a friendship, but I thought Tao was falling in love with her. At least
I
on
just
his
don't
end.
think so.
I
I
did
don't think
like
he
the
understood the
moment
concept of
where
love.
I really like the moment. Though,
That
where
doesn't
you
mean
see
he
how
just because he
developed
doesn't
he's
understand the concept doesn't mean he's not like sadly falling in love with it. Because like clearly there are these human traits that he doesn't understand about himself.
Yeah, like
and that's
love.
a part of the whole getting more human stuff. I'm pretty sure he was murking just regular normal people coming in to
Oh,
like
yeah.
live in the house.
Yeah,
no
well, he
problem.
says that he thought he was.
I
Fixing
just feel
them,
like
he says.
if you're an AI learning how to be a person or like learning AI, love is not
you,
the first thing
have
you
you
should start
seen
with.
That
That is a complicated
is
like,
it Upgrade? Have you seen Upgrade?
who's in that?
I don't remember. It's like this though. It's a lot like this. It
I'm
has
trying
pretty
to
much the same
remember.
plot. There's a chip. It's a super advanced, just even a psychotic little weirdo who owns a company. But it's a lot different in the end. But it has a very similar kind of like the robot.
What happens? I'm trying to remember if I've seen it. 'Cause I
It's
don't
like this
remember.
dude gets an AI chip after he's made paraplegic.
Oh yeah, I wanted to see that. I never got to.
It's pretty sweet.
I
It's a good
wanted to
movie.
see that.
More of a horror movie than an action movie, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Dope movie.
I remember the
a lot
trailer.
like this. That's why I brought it up.
I wanted to watch it. I just never got a chance
Yeah,
to. And now
give
it's
it a-
gone.
give it a
so
try
I have to
sometime.
find it.
Yeah,
by
I would
means
actually
that are not
recommend it
conventional.
for one of these if at some point you guys want to.
Well, but we
yeah.
have to find stuff that's available for everyone.
Yeah, that's true. It's not on Netflix. Too
It's
bad.
not on Netflix
Yeah.
or Hulu. So
But next movie.
yeah, so 3 potatoes for Tao.
Really
Let's
good.
move on to the one that we all watched together.
Yes.
Let's get to this.
Abducted in
Let's
plain
get to
sight.
wait.
Me
Let's
and
get
Jordan
to
had already seen it, but we wanted to watch it with Eddie.
what is it?
Yeah.
Kids business.
Kid stuff.
It's just
Let's
kid
get to this kid
It's just some
stuff,
kid
man.
stuff.
It's
Don't
just some
worry,
kid
this movie
stuff,
is
man.
just kid stuff.
It's not.
All right, so if you guys are ever in a car with Jordan or Brandon and they turn to you and they say it's just kid stuff,
That's not.
A bro job is
No.
a
coming.
bro job is
God.
Is on the horizon.
that guy did it almost for water for the fire festival. This guy,
I love that documentary.
dude, like that guy was a hero. This guy's a weirdo. Why
Yeah,
did
no, I
you do
know.
this?
None of y'all are down for me.
Let's
like,
start with
novice.
the basics. If a weird guy decides to have a weird relationship with your daughter and she's 13, don't let it
She
happen.
was younger than
She was
that.
younger
She was
than
younger
13.
than
She was
13?
11.
She was
when they
11
She was
when it
11
started.
years old when they met. Don't let it happen.
Yeah,
If-
so
if-
it's a
if-
documentary that starts with them
When the guy looks
introducing-
over you and says, "Let's just kid stuff," don't jerk him off.
Don't jerk him off.
introducing the two families.
But then again, if your friend
When
just looks over you and just immediately says that, that means he
When a
clocked you as
man
gay the minute
when a
you walk
man
in the
has
door.
molested your daughter and gotten a hand job from your husband,
Don't f-
don't let him. Don't f- him. Don't start a sexual relationship with him and say you're in love with him.
Yeah. Like years after in the documentary, don't say how
Jesus.
good it made you felt.
I was
Yeah,
I was excited.
they were
It's
for
an
sure they
exciting
were for
time
sure
of-
divorced though.
Oh yeah.
Their interviews were in different places, which doesn't inherently mean that they were divorced. But he's wearing a wedding ring, she's not. I really feel like
She's
the parent got
he
divorced
feels
together.
bad.
He's totally gay now, out and like. Just
Well,
proud
he-
about it.
well,
We
he's
don't
dead
know.
now.
Yeah.
He's dead
Oh,
now.
he
Yeah,
is
he
dead now,
died
that's
out.
right.
He
He
died
died
a little
after
bit
the
out, a
documentary
couple
came
months
out.
after the documentary came out.
Who the
The
dad?
dad.
Oh wow.
But I'm
Kid stuff,
sure he was
I
gay.
yeah, kid stuff got him.
Yeah, I'm sure he
couldn't live with
he
it.
probably went full gay.
And then
Maybe.
what's his name? B committed suicide, right?
yeah, he took his heart
yes,
pills and
yes,
died.
'cause he
What's
didn't wanna
his
go to
real
prison.
name? Right? It's not it's
Bob.
Bob.
No,
But they
well,
called-
no, it was
was
no.
Bob.
Bob was the dad. I thought.
Yeah,
They
and
both-
also
Yeah.
Birchall. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
they're
why
both
they called
Bob,
him B.
Bob.
But
That's
Bob
why they called him
Birchtold,
B.
yeah.
They called him B
Bob
because they had the same
Birchall
name.
and Bob.
So the documentary starts
Hey,
with
Bob,
the two
it's just
families
kids
meeting
stuff, Bob.
in church,
Bob Roper.
and basically their families hit it off and decided they're going to become BFFs across the board.
They're
So
friends at the church,
they're-
which
they're
is an
friends at the
LDS church.
Yeah, the Latter Day Saints.
Stop
It's in-
mentioning-
It's in Utah or whatever.
It doesn't matter, but it matters in context for the story because it comes up later.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it
later
turns
on in it does matter.
It actually does matter.
It does
Yeah.
matter.
So
It's
they,
just
I'm not just being
LDS.
prejudiced.
Fucking LDS
they become
creeps.
family friends, and they get really
Salt
close.
Lake City.
They become really close, and eventually,
Where's your daughter at?
he starts to become really attached to their daughter Jan.
Really attached.
First red flag because they notice it and they get annoyed
And
by
they
it.
actively say like they were irritated by how much attention he gave her, but like it's 1974. Like, what are you gonna do?
Nobody rapes
Yeah.
anybody in
They
1974.
have this weird sort of like, oh, older men just date younger girls sort of
She's
attitude.
11.
Yeah, but she's fucking 11, exactly. But that's the attitude they have throughout the entire
Not really.
movie.
It's not that.
Ridiculous.
It's more the fact like
But,
they hadn't heard of anything
What?
like
No,
this.
but once they, I don't know.
Well, they're getting into the
I
context.
don't know.
of-
They've never heard of the
Of
concept of
That's
a
what
they're
man.
even the
at least-
FBI agent says
They're
that.
at least negligent
The
parents.
FBI said like they taught us stranger danger, but we like pedophile
That's
wasn't
literally
even a
the
word.
same fucking thing.
Well, I know,
Stranger
but-
danger
but
is
even-
pedophilia.
But it's
I
not,
know.
he's not a stranger danger because he knew the family. They were all friends.
I guess it's just it's
But-
that weird sort
I'm just
of
saying
disconnect
it wasn't really
I
that much of a
understand.
thing because it probably was, but the
Especially
FBI was
later on,
shocked
there's
by
this
it.
whole like serious take on him getting married to her and
Mexico.
Well, in Mexico,
yeah, and there's lots of that
When it gets there, it
beforehand,
goes
too,
black
where
and
they're
white.
sort of like, oh, let me take your daughter out horseback riding, like it's a fucking date, and it's
Well,
cool.
he said it's something that they'd done before.
Yeah, but like clearly though, I mean, like, but just him and that girl.
Well, she also like loved him.
That's what I'm saying. It
Is-
seems
Stockholm
like,
syndrome
it
is a
seems
main
like they
thing in
sort
this.
of no, but I mean, it seemed like the parents were like, one day they'll get married, and they were chill with it.
No, they weren't.
He already had a wife and kids.
Yeah, but like they didn't.
No
like,
one got divorced.
their
That was a
attitude-
big
their
point.
At no
attitude
point did
throughout
the-
the entire time though seem like, oh, the
Well,
one day
no.
they'll be together.
You know what's
They did
fucked
not
up?
want them to get married
His
at all.
brother's
They
attitude
didn't
though
act
was
that way,
definitely
though.
like
The brother was my favorite character.
Oh, yeah, the brother-
His brother was like at one
He's
point
like,
they
"He's not
interviewed him. He's
that
like,
bad a
yeah, he
guy.
likes
He
little
just likes
girls.
little girls."
Yeah,
The thing about Bobby,
he sold cars out the yin yang.
the thing about Bobby, he always liked him little girlfriends.
And he came that day, and I told him not to, and then Bob had a gun on him.
Yeah, he did it. That's a line from the documentary.
I fucking love that guy. So
I just love when he dies. Like, yeah, he went home and
Went
he
home.
took all his heart medication with some
Mix some
Kahlua
and milk.
and then he died. And then that's
That's
it.
a fucking smoothie. That's not a drink to kill
And he
yourself with.
died. And it goes black, and that's it.
Oh,
That
my
guy was the
God.
best.
So they're family friends, and basically he's got a crush on their daughter. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't like it, but what are you gonna do? It's 1974."
Again, it makes it sound like they're like one day they might get together. I guess.
I guess they
you know,
they
I don't-
consigned to the concept that
I think
could
they
be a
were-
thing, but I don't think that they are
I
approving of him
think they
leaving
were-
his wife.
I
I think
think-
it's
They
more
sure
of an
as
issue
hell-
than actually letting her
Fair
their
enough,
daughter.
but they sure as hell didn't really care.
No,
about
they
I
did
it.
think
not
they
fight that
were-
hard. They
I
were
think
negligent parents
they're-
at best.
They
They're
were
that weird
no
kind of-
negligent.
She put her on a plane and sent her to another state with her rapist.
Exactly.
I wasn't done. I think they're just stupid parents.
No, I think
It's not even like.
I
Is there
think
a
it's-
difference at that level?
They're
I
that
feel
weird
like-
type of baby boomer.
guess you're right.
Not even. It's like it's weird thing
They
you
were
see with
stupid,
baby boomers
negligent
where they
parents.
act like they're very like upright and like morally righteous.
Yeah.
and shit,
They were self-righteous.
but they're super like easily
Dumb.
They were
took
easily
into the
manipulated
darkest and
and
weirdest
very
places.
dumb.
So just kind of like commentary on this because me and my wife had watched this and she kind of went on Reddit about this documentary and pretty much everybody is just pretty much saying like these are the dumbest parents and like one person even said though this guy literally hit the jackpot with this family.
Oh, yeah,
for
because
sure.
he had a history of doing this.
Yeah.
And so
there
he
were
literally
other
hit the
girls.
perfect family.
It's
Well, like to the point of they
this
go
happens
missing.
a lot with rich dudes. Like
The
R. Kelly
first
did this, and so
time-
did Michael Jackson. And
But this was just a regular guy.
yeah, this is just a regular guy. In the '70s, he got
Yeah.
away with it.
The
so it's kind of
first
crazy.
time he took her, they waited 4 days to call the cops. Because they didn't
There was a time before that though. They had met up like 4 times before that. Like they went out by
but like they
themselves.
waited.
They would
4
disappear. They would
days
disappear one day at a time,
And
and
then
it
they'd
wouldn't
come
be that
back.
big. Yeah. It was the 4
because
days
they
and that
didn't
caused
want to
it.
make a scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they assumed
Their daughter was gone for
They
4
assumed-
days.
they assumed
they said,
Same
you know-
amount of time they had to get to the
And-
shuttle on Io.
They
It was
assumed they had-
actually more than 4 because the 4th day hits and then they're like they picked up the phone to call the FBI and they said, I don't want to bother them if this is nothing.
yeah,
Day 7, day like 102,
they
whatever.
were out
Their
of
reasoning-
the country by then.
their reasoning was they thought that they were in a car accident and were maybe in a hospital or something. Which
They
again,
still-
And you
why
still
not?
don't wanna
yeah, I know,
call?
why not call?
You still don't call?
So it turns
But
out
that was the reasoning they give. They're like, oh, but
he
we thought
took
something
her
bad
to
happened.
Mexico
Yeah.
and staged a crash because he was drugging her.
Yeah. So when he picks her up, he says
alien abduction, not a
yes,
crash.
I was going to get to that.
When he picks her up,
he staged
says
a crash for the FBI.
When he picks her up,
he staged.
He staged a car accident for the FBI.
Yeah, when he picks her up to go horseback riding, he gives her pills and says, "Oh, I brought your allergy pills. You better take these right now."
He broke the windows from the inside, trying to make it look like somebody.
Before that.
I know. I'm talking about what he brought up later, motherfucker. All right, go on. It doesn't matter.
Do you want a bro job? Is that what this is?
I need one.
Do we need to do kid stuff? Do we need to do kid stuff right now?
It's kid stuff,
Dude, I need some relief.
So excited.
Do you need relief?
I don't like having sex with my wife.
I'm uncomfy.
All right, let's go on.
Okay,
Anyway.
yeah. So what were you saying though?
Yeah, when he first picks her up, he gives her pills and says, "These are your allergy pills. You better take these right now." And then she knocks out.
Yeah.
Sleeping pills.
So then he stages an accident, so the FBI will be thrown off their trail.
Which they don't. They see that he broke the window from the inside.
Well, then it wasn't an accident. It was an abduction, is what he was staging.
Right.
What I was trying to say.
Oh yeah.
So
that they got abducted.
Oh, that they were kidnapped. That's true.
Yeah.
He does.
But
there was
they-
only
yeah.
one set of footprints. And
and
the window was broken from the
inside,
inside.
so it didn't make any
It
sense.
turns out the
yeah.
FBI knows what crashes should look like and what abductions should look like. Weird.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Anyway,
you could tell it. Yeah, I mean, you could tell when the window's broken from the inside, and it doesn't make
we
sense.
get to their. So the alien part happens at this point.
So
right?
yes,
plot.
so we're at the alien part.
So this is from the girl's perspective.
This is
This
a
is
real
real
part.
thing that really
We're not making this
happened.
up.
And so like she wakes up
In an
and
RV.
There's a
Tape
what
recorder.
sounds like a tape recorder, just a
But
tape
the
recorder.
voice is modulated.
But she
tape recorder.
describes it like it's a tech device that she's never seen in her entire life.
In 1974, an 11-year-old girl probably doesn't care about tape
she
recorders.
makes it sound like it's a Rubik's cube that like
It's a Rubik.
like it's the Tesseract or some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's this glowing orb next to her telling her these things.
He said it looked like a voice recorder, and then you look at the reenactment, you're like, yeah,
That's a
that's a
But
tape recorder.
she makes
The
it sound
records on
She
tape.
makes it sound like this is a high
I've never seen
alien
before.
device. Yeah, and these aliens are like, oh, you.
He didn't
need
even
to-
go through the effort of like spray painting in a different color.
No,
and,
it
like,
sounds
Yeah.
like it was just a regular device, but she makes it sound like it was something
Yeah.
so much more. Like her, I imagine her imagination as a kid must have like fueled this a
Oh,
part
for
of it.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
because like she
Well,
gets
also
way
she was
too into
drugged.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
She- yeah.
She, for all we know, she's hallucinating
Yeah.
some of it.
So-
Yeah.
We're not talking on her.
No,
we
no.
sympathize with her.
No,
She
it's just
believes-
it's
Yeah.
weird how she
It's
believes
weird.
some of it, and that's just
Yeah.
we're
So
trying to find the reasoning.
voices tell her that they
Zeta
are
and Zethra.
Zeta and Zethra,
Zeta and
two
Zethra.
aliens.
Two aliens.
That her father is not her father. That they got her mother pregnant, and she is half alien.
Yes.
And that it is her responsibility to have a child with a specific male companion to save both their worlds.
Had Star Wars come out yet?
In the 70s?
This is 73.
It came out in the late 70s. The first one did.
I think this takes place in like
Yeah.
73.
This 74 is when this happens.
74. So
74.
2 years before.
October 17th, 1974.
George Lucas
no,
was
I'm
inspired.
just because like no, it's just because his story. Because especially after this, when she's allowed to see him, it's a lot like when Luke meets Leia and she's been kept away from him.
Right.
So I was like, did he watch Star Wars and was like, I need to like
No.
woo her
No,
off
this was
her
way
feet and
be-
be
this
the
was like
Luke
2 years
There's
before.
other
Skywalker
sci-fi
here.
where that happens.
Couple
but
years before.
Regardless,
Point is,
she believes that she is chosen by these aliens to save both the planets.
And the male companion is in the other
and
room.
he's this like because like when
And
she walks into
obviously
the other
it's her
room,
rapist.
he's covered in like fake blood and he's
Yeah.
like
Cuts and
his clothes is torn like he's supposed to be some
yeah.
And he
hero
tells
from
her
a
they
story or
were-
something.
He tells her they were driving, and then he saw this white light, and then
Yeah.
they woke up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just basic alien fodder bullshit that
Yeah.
he probably read out of some
And
magazine.
so she genuinely believes that she's got to have a baby with this dude. And
Before she's 16.
before she's 16.
Does he
timeline?
like not try to get her pregnant? Because he at
he
no
doesn't
point
try to get her pregnant. Why
Okay.
would he?
Not at first.
Well, then what's the point of making her believe that
Because
she has to get
because
pregnant?
then when
So-
she turns 16, if she doesn't have the baby by then, he moves on to the sister.
Because she's going to be the same age.
Because the
Oh,
aliens
she'll be
told her
allowed.
the sister,
Okay.
her
His
younger
cutoff
sister,
point is 16
okay,
years
so he
old.
was trying to have her
he was
be
setting up
willing.
the long con.
He was trying to
when
set
you
up
when
a groom.
when you
All
say
right.
hey Bob or hey B, do you like 16-year-olds? He's like, not too old.
that almost blew up on her because she was gonna kill herself and kill
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
kill
Well,
her
so
sister.
the aliens explain to her that if she doesn't have the child by the time she's 16, her sister, who is also half alien, will then take her place in the attempts to have
yeah,
the
and
baby.
if she
And
doesn't
then she'll go
succeed,
blind.
everything
And
will go
yeah,
to
everyone's blind and people die, and it's the end of the
their
world.
dogs
Yeah.
will disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their
so
dad will die,
They,
yeah,
move,
something
they
like
go
that.
down to Mexico to get married because they're
Yeah.
like, we're in. Let's do it.
Which, if this was a real thing, Jan would be the hero of the story.
If aliens did kidnap someone, she totally was going to take one.
Oh
for the
yeah,
team.
She was gonna
gonna
do it.
Yeah. She
Which,
was
as an
prepared.
11-year-old, I mean,
Way to go.
She's like Daenerys Targaryen. She was gonna summon dragons to
Dude,
bring magic back into the world.
I mean, I know her situation was awful, but she's not a hero.
yeah.
If real aliens came and said, "Hey, you got to do this,"
real aliens show up and they go to her like, "Hey, heard you were
hey,
down."
we know you were down, and this is for real.
So
Gangbang, all
obviously
of us.
he's just manipulating
Gangbang,
her
all of us.
in order to continue raping her because
Yeah.
he's a monster.
Yeah,
And
he's
this is where it gets graphic. I mean, just stop me if you don't.
you know
think
what?
we need to
I
say
think we
this,
can
but-
just. Oh, I think we just go over this.
Let's
like
generally not talk
like
about
for the most part, he just
her
rapes her a
trauma.
lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot of rape.
But
There's a lot of
he's
molest.
very smart in rape. I don't take that as you may, but he's
He makes
he's
sure not
very
to break
smart
her
about it.
hymen.
Yeah,
That's
he
all,
makes sure
yeah.
not to break her hymen because
there's
when
no
they examine her
evidence at
later,
any
they say,
point
"Oh,
that
her
she's been
hymen's not
raped.
broken."
Because eventually the FBI will find him.
Because like that's an old school way of telling.
Yeah.
They didn't have rape kits like we
which
have
isn't
now.
very
Yeah.
consistent or accurate.
Yeah,
because
back
like
then,
a
that's
hymen
the
doesn't
thing that was-
necessarily
yeah,
need to be
in the
broken.
70s.
That was
to
the
be
thing back
raped.
then.
Yeah.
So they get caught eventually.
She's brought back, but he
She's
uses
brought back and-
he uses a con to make sure that he and her aren't.
Oh,
He
did
isn't
we
prosecuted.
Did we already skip over all the other
What other?
all the kid stuff?
Oh yeah. So him and the way he's able to do all this.
Yeah, the way he's
is
able to
got
because
the
the
mom
reason
and
it comes up
dad.
is because he gets them to sign an affidavit that says I won't pursue this legally.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
because he's got the mom and dad wrapped around his finger.
Yeah.
Because he's been sexually
Divide and conquer.
He's been having sexual relations with the mom and the dad.
Yeah.
We find out the mom first,
The mom he seduces
And then-
and
He seduces
and
the
then
mom,
curveball
Yeah.
of.
and then he got a handy from the
yeah, he
dad.
Well, that's all they say. I think they had
Oh
a
yeah, I
full-on
think they
relate.
went.
They
yeah,
were
a
doing
handy-
it.
Like
Yeah.
his story is such bullshit. I just gave him a handy in the car and that was it. You're full of shit, dude.
Yeah, because
What?
even,
If you're giving handies
because
in
B
cars,
even-
this is not your first handy.
well, yeah, because even when B later on calls the wife and says, "Oh, by the way, me and your husband were having a homosexual relationship."
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is homosexual relationships aren't just handies. You know,
How would you know?
I
bro?
mean, that's pretty.
But yeah,
Regardless,
it
he
sounds
basically
like-
has both of them bent over a barrel.
and the 70s also
Literally.
was like a big time for like people who were gay and doing gay stuff in
yeah.
public. Like
this
on the
was
down
when it was
low.
an outrage.
So like gay bars and were pretty common. I could see
Yeah.
maybe the dad frequenting these things on his own.
Yeah,
And this was
because
just the
you don't
thing
just
that
ask
happened with
somebody
B.
that without
Yeah, it
making
sounds like
sure
such
you know you're
bullshit.
get
Yeah.
one.
regardless,
But yeah, he was the mom, he's dad. So when they caught him, he pretty much was like, "Well, you know, you either say that you're not going to charge me with anything, or else I'll tell everybody that you're
that I'm
Andy
both
and
of
I
you."
f***ed your wife."
yeah, which they agreed to because
They
they're
said,
great
"Wow, our
parents.
personal image is more important than our daughter."
The kicker
and-
is after this, it's not like this means he'll never see her again. He still continues to see her,
Yep.
and he still continues to f the mom
Well,
and the dad.
what's
But
the
not
point is
really,
that they dropped the charges, but it's either the FBI or whoever says
Attorney
no.
General-
The Attorney General says no. You guys, we're having
Yeah,
we're having
going
the actual court and like people in the government are like, you can't do that.
yeah,
That's not how
no,
this works.
you're not dropping this.
but he's recommended to go for 5 years.
Only.
They work all of it down to 45 days.
Oh yeah, well he's still
He goes to
he's still a
jail
f***ing white
for
dude in the
45
'70s.
And doesn't he
Who's
go?
well off.
Doesn't he go for less for good
Kidnapping.
behavior?
No, it was
Yes.
45 days total was served.
No, but he
Okay.
got out for good.
He got out for good
too.
behavior,
I don't
so
remember,
he
yeah.
served less.
But yeah, but the point is, well, like off the bat, this is a point in time when a guy could get away with,
Well, then-
especially a
then
white
he
man
moves
like him
towns.
who's like
He
doing all
switches
this.
to a different place to work with his brother.
Also
no,
divorced his wife.
they
at that
charged
point.
him with it though.
Yeah.
They charged him with
They
it.
charged him, but he was only
And then he
45
goes
days
back
worth
to
of prison
church,
time.
and they're all like, "Oh, don't worry, dude, it'll get better."
We know you've been sick
everybody's
or
like,
whatever.
we know you're dealing with difficult times. He raped an 11-year-old. You pieces of shit.
And this is the same church that the family goes to.
He goes to a psychologist.
No, this is before. That's like the second time. Or no, yeah, you're right.
No,
My
he
bad.
goes
Yeah.
to a psychologist.
And the
Who
psychologist
turns out
does
to not be a real psychologist.
He had his license revoked a long
says-
time
Dude
ago.
also seems weird as f***ing sketchy.
Oh yeah, because
says-
he was willing to make these.
The reason
Yeah,
you're
he made weird, creepy taste for him. Like pretty much.
Sorry,
like,
Jordan was saying
Sorry,
it.
go
No,
on,
you're
go
fine.
ahead,
Jordan.
The reason you're being like this is because you were abused by your aunt.
Yeah, which
And-
floors
He does
the.
mention that too. Like I had sex with my aunt.
Yeah.
Oh, and let's also note something. The FBI told the family you are not to talk to him.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
kids
yeah.
aren't allowed
Don't
to hang out
talk
with
to him
their
and
kids.
Don't let your kids have
Next-
contact
like,
with them.
next
Immediately
day-
start hanging out.
He's
Yeah.
at their house talking to them, saying, "Hey, I'm like this because my aunt touched me."
And,
Yeah,
and we
and
also
then-
find out that he was constantly taking care of his little stepsister, and that also played
Quote,
into
unquote.
this.
Well, he was
raping his little
it was
Yeah.
it was
yeah.
the only way he
She,
had
he
a
was
place
16.
in the family
She was
too.
he was 16. She was like 6.
Yeah.
So this therapist gives him these tapes that he's supposed to listen to while laying in bed next to
the girl he
girl
raped.
he molested.
Which, what the how is that a
And
prescription?
she's still all in on
Right?
the alien thing.
Yeah.
She's now starting to kind of Stockholm her way into this. Like, maybe I do love him. Like, we're
Yeah.
supposed to save the world
She's
together.
she's gotten to that point where
Which,
she's
at this point, she's like
you know,
12. So, yeah,
it's-
obviously.
It's not a good
it
story.
reminds me so much of of Game of
ridiculous.
Thrones with like that beginning where Daenerys meets Khal Drogo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like super eerie to that. Like
Yeah.
she's just like, oh, I'm fulfilling prophecy because I'm with this guy, even though he's like super old and creepy, and he's just stoked to have this young like girl, and she's just stoked to be with him,
She's
even
supposed
though
to be like
it's-
12 in the
yeah,
books.
even though it's like
ridiculous.
creepy and wrong. Yeah.
So,
like it's a lot like that.
but these tapes are just ridiculous. They're
It's
like,
like she's caressing you, and you
she's
like
caressing you
it, and it feels
faster.
nice.
Like, it's weird. It's super
Every
weird.
sentence
Yeah.
ends with, and it feels nice.
It says, a little text pops up. He got to sleep in her bed 4 nights a week for 6 months. And they're basically like, yeah, essentially we're concluding that he molested her every night.
And like, and you know,
And
let's
she
say-
and
let's
she
say the
and she
parent-
wait. She also says like, yes, I was molested every
Yeah,
night.
yeah, yeah, no,
And, like,
I know.
and
she's
you're-
on this, and she
Right.
quite often talks about all
and
this.
and you know, they did the hymen check, and obviously, so the parents don't think that she got raped
Because,
even
modern
then,
medicine.
the guy that kidnapped your
And,
daughter
like,
wants
oral
to
sex
spend
is a
nights
thing.
with you.
Handies are a proven thing in this universe.
Even that. Like,
this was the real
Well,
universe.
well,
No, I know, but like,
they didn't know
this-
what.
canon.
If this wasn't our universe, handies are canon to this universe.
Yeah,
so
well,
far.
I mean, that's the thing, too,
So
is
you
they
should at
didn't-
least
they didn't-
assume handies are possible.
Well, they didn't know any of that was going on because Jan denied all of it.
Well, yeah.
But the thing
Yeah.
is, though, the guy that kidnapped your daughter, you're gonna let him back in your
And this
house,
is
and
why
you're
I'm
gonna
like,
let him sleep in
they're
the same with your daughter.
negligent
They're
parents.
dumb
dude.
parents.
They're
Let's
bad.
keep going. Let's
So,
keep going.
okay, so-
because we're kind of getting stuck on the same
So,
part.
Sorry,
of it.
yeah.
what ends up happening where he has to leave and she's like, I'm running away?
Well, he got charged. He got charged again with something.
It was something unrelated, though.
It was something with another
It
girl.
was okay.
And
yeah.
so he moved
And
out
so
of the
he moved
state
out
to
of the
another state.
And she is like, I want to be with him. And
I want to
they're
go
like,
see him. And the
no.
So
parents
she
say no.
pretends to leave, but she doesn't actually leave. He abducts her.
No, this is before that. This is
He abducts
this
her
is
now.
before that.
Are you sure?
Yes, because the mom agrees to fly her over to
Oh,
the
that's
rape
right.
ward.
He's
So
working
she
at a
wants to
summer
spend,
camp.
like a week at a summer
No,
camp.
yeah, he's
with
working at
him.
a summer camp. So
And
she
she's
goes
like, I want to
there.
go. And
No,
everyone's
he's
like,
working
no.
at the shop with his brother.
No, he's working at a
It
summer
doesn't
camp
matter.
too.
Yeah,
he's
he's
doing
doing
something,
something,
and
yeah.
she
He's
wants
doing
to
both
go.
or something
They're
like that,
like,
yeah.
no. She's like, yes, and mom's like, fine.
I'll send you to your rapist.
Drives her to the airport, puts her on a plane.
Puts her on a f***ing plane. That's not
to
cheap.
her rapist.
I guess
this
in the
is
70s, yeah,
9/11.
that
It
was
was
pretty cheap. Yeah, never mind.
well, yeah, because that makes
Like
it,
34
that makes it
bucks, I
okay.
think.
The plane ticket was cheap. That's fine.
It's not.
That's what you're saying.
No,
No,
like,
I'm
not-
I'm
you know,
not
the
saying
t-
like because they
I'm
flew to
saying they-
Mexico too to get her.
They went
Oh,
out of
yeah.
their
Yeah.
way to to fly places.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to
And
say.
like,
Oh, okay.
we get a recording of her and Bede talking about a dream that she had,
Which is
with together, which is
creepy.
haunting.
Yeah.
and she's obviously 13
In love with
at
him.
the time and
Yeah.
definitely in love with him. And so she's like, I'm not going back, and they're like, yes, you are. And so
And no, I'm not. And then his brother goes, "You need to send her back."
and,
And
her
then
mom,
she goes
like,
back.
Her mom like goes and picks her up because it's
Yeah.
basically she's not going to
Yeah.
go unless someone
But
makes her.
this is the point where
This
then
is
where
the
he
point then
abducts
where-
her.
where
This
she's
is
like-
because
yeah.
then it looks like she
She
runs away.
pretends she ran
writes
away.
a note that she's running away not with him.
Yeah.
I'm
and
running
that
away to be
because
me.
they won't let her be with him. That's why she's running
And
away
then-
to do her own thing.
And then she goes off. She
And then
tells
she even
them
says,
she's-
because we
and-
let me save us before we're destroyed.
And then they wait how long before they call the FBI? Like 2 weeks, right?
2
Oh,
weeks.
really?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Oh,
They
okay.
wait 2 weeks before they
forgot
call
that.
the FBI that their daughter, who has been kidnapped before,
Yeah.
Is gone again.
Because they're like, well, we don't really know if she's kidnapped or if she's with him.
Yeah, or
so
she
we don't want to make
left.
a whole bunch of.
Well, because then they
Dude.
call B, and then they go to his place, and she's not
And
there.
she's not
And
there,
he's
yeah.
saying, "I don't know where she is."
And
And, it's
then
tearing
when
me
they
up
do
inside.
finally get contacted from her, she like gives them this bullshit story that she's living on the street,
Yeah.
prostituting herself.
No,
and
B
stuff.
tells
B
them
tells
that.
them that. She says she's doing
Oh,
fine.
you're right. B
yeah.
tells
because
them
because then B starts calling the family,
Yeah.
and then the FBI says, "Keep taking
And
these
the
calls.
FBI is
We're
like
tapping him."
taping the
Yeah,
phone
that's
calls
right.
so that they can like
To
try to
catch him
trap
and-
him because
to
they
get him,
know
slip him
he's
up.
got
Yeah.
her. Obviously, he's got her, but they can't just like bust into his mobile home.
But
And
at some
then-
point, they do find out B
Yeah,
is
eventually
actually
he
in
slips up.
California, and
Yeah.
she's a.
He slips up and leaves
goes-
a phone number in a phone book when
That's
he calls
right.
the place that he
That's
had
right.
her sent. So it turned out the whole time he had her signed up at an all-girls Catholic school. He said that
California.
under the name
he said that-
Janice.
Yeah, he said that he was a CIA agent and escaped from Lebanon,
Yep.
right? And
if people asked where he was or about her,
or about
it was
her family,
it was the bad guys.
They had to stay quiet about it. He convinces this Catholic school that they cannot divulge her information to anyone because they escaped with their lives.
Yes.
And my favorite part of the documentary, they show the little like file thing that he filled out to get her to go there. It goes, "How did you hear about this school?" You know, it has
From
their
God.
name. He
God.
just wrote the word God. Like,
How'd you hear about this school?
God.
God told me.
Like,
But then
what?
they find her and they
they
get her
find
back.
and they bring her back. Don't tell the parents
and
that
now
they're bringing
he's
her back.
And now
Yeah,
he's
what the
fucked.
was
They have
that?
evidence. No, because them. The FBI is like, no, I can't.
At this point, I can't believe the FBI didn't put her into like a state program.
Like a
yeah,
CPS.
but at least they didn't tell the parents.
But
I
like
mean-
even then, like you.
I get your point. Like, why wouldn't
Yeah.
you tell the parents? But that's the reason
but
why.
these
Because
fucking
at this
parents
point, they're
aren't
like, we can't
trustworthy.
trust these guys
Yeah,
at
they're
all.
awful.
They're idiots. And now they swoop up on him and they pick
They
up
arrest
B.
him. Yeah.
And finally, they have enough that
And,
like
like,
B's kind of.
they have
He's not going to be in
pictures,
prison forever,
like,
but
they
he's
do
kind
this
of.
Because now he's facing 2 charges of kidnapping now.
Yeah.
They had this reenactment where they show that his RV or whatever is filled
With pictures of
with
her.
pictures of her.
Yeah.
Like
Like a
Creeper.
creeper.
Shrines
lot
and
of
shit.
pictures of her.
Big ones too.
Yeah, like
Poster-sized pictures.
poster-sized pictures of this little girl. It's crazy.
Because-
And
That's
I
not
don't
weird.
remember what he. So did he serve any time for this kidnapping?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember that he actually got 2 people to burn down.
While he
Oh,
was
that's
in jail.
right.
Yeah.
In revenge, he really sloppily, and it was right back to him, and
Yeah.
he got in trouble
he got
for
in
this
trouble
too.
for that immediately.
He f***ing hires
hired
these 2
two
kids who are in prison. He's like, I'll give you $1,000 a year. F***ing stupidest
Yeah.
sounding plan ever. But they burn down his shop.
They
Don't
burned down
only burn down the
Jan's
shop.
dad's shop.
Don't
yeah.
only burn down the shop. Burn
The
down the
whole
whole block.
They burned down the whole block.
So that's like a big arson charge.
And actually,
Big.
that's a big pivotal moment for Jan because when she gets sent back home the second time, she's like, F you guys. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not part of this family because you don't support my
She
love.
is so under Stockholm syndrome right now.
Yeah,
when
and
she is
but
not
that
happy.
fire-
freaking out
But that
because she's getting
fire-
older and she doesn't have a baby and the aliens are
But
coming.
that fire makes her realize
that
shit
yeah,
crazy.
because their dad is like trying to like hold the family and there's a big
He's
moment
like,
for
let
her.
it burn. I have everything I have
Yeah,
right here.
and
Yeah.
for her, that's kind of like a click of like, you know what? They don't like hate me. They
Yeah.
just want what's best for me.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
understand.
And then through this,
But she still believes the aliens.
she's-
Oh, yeah, for sure
She
she
still
still believes
believes
that,
this,
yeah.
but that's what we're getting to.
Yeah.
She's at this point she doesn't see him again. She doesn't see
She
Bob
doesn't see him
ever
again. They write
again,
notes
or
to
not
each
ever
other.
again,
Don't they
but
write
They
like
notes
write
to each
love
other?
letters to each other.
something along those lines. But
But
it's
it's getting
slowly,
fewer in between.
yeah, because she's getting older and,
and
he's
he's
less
a pedophile,
interested.
so he doesn't want an adult.
His cutoff
And
age is
eventually
16.
she's 16 finally,
and she goes on like a trip, and like
and a boy likes her.
likes her, and they get ice cream, and then
Yeah.
she immediately thinks that like bad gonna happen
Yeah.
because the aliens.
And then the
bad
dogs
shit
start
doesn't
the dogs
happen.
start
And
acting
yeah.
up, and she freaks out.
Yeah,
and then the
and then
next
they're
day, the dogs are
fine.
fine. She goes,
And then she has her 16th birthday, and this is where she's like, "All right, if they show up, I'm gonna tell my sister about this plan that she's supposed to have this baby.
And if she doesn't wanna
wanna
do it,
I'll kill her and then
I'll
kill
kill
myself."
myself.
And she's like,
Dude, B, he loses either way.
yeah.
"Well, this is where she starts to question, like, wait,
Whether or not any of this is real, she just kind of
Yeah.
at one moment has like a logical moment. Like, it was really interesting, like the thought of it. Like I imagine this must happen to like people who are like lost in cults and like
Yeah.
like the
And
super
then when
Trump
they
supporters
come
and
out,
shit like that. Like they must just have a moment of like
Everything
logic where they're
clicks.
like, it makes no sense that I hate these people for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, so that's sort of what happened. She realizes like aliens abducting me and I need to get pregnant with this specific guy.
Yeah.
Like I imagine she said it out loud for the first time and she's like, I'm
I don't know about that, but
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She must have felt
She's
really
like,
dumb.
oh,
and she did like eventually tell her family.
Well, she only
Yeah.
told them 20 minutes of what
Well,
happened.
no,
and
no,
that's
no,
all
no,
they
no,
wanted
no,
to
no.
hear.
Well,
She started giving out little bits of it to certain people, and when they heard the upness of it, they cried and were
Everyone
like,
cried, and that's what the mom was saying. It wasn't that she only gave them 20 minutes. It was that it took her 2 hours to explain what should have only taken 20
Yeah.
minutes.
But they
And
didn't. They
the
didn't even
parents
need to
were
hear
kind of
everything.
like, we don't want to hear anymore. But the siblings were the ones that were like, wait, what the f?
yeah,
And they were freaking out.
because like that's pretty up. It's like first you see this like plan he had to take the next one,
Yeah.
and then also you see this like just up like playing on a child's emotions and fears and
I
desires to
just
want to
feel
protect
so
their family.
bad for this woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really horrible. Like
'Cause,
this
like,
poor
it's
woman.
so bad.
She still like exists.
she
and like
seems
has
up. Like she seems okay, you know, like she's living her life.
I don't expect her to ever get married.
I don't know how she could have a relationship.
I don't know if she's been married.
There was no not have a ring on her finger.
There was no ring, but that doesn't inherently.
Yeah, she might have like family and kids, and she just doesn't want their like faces out there.
How can you ever have a relationship?
Well, like
with
she even says, like the one person she would like the most to just forget in her life that has the least meaning and least importance is one person she thinks about every day.
Yeah.
And that's horrible and sad.
Haunting, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But so kind of fast forward, now she's an adult and she's writing her mom wrote a book about everything, and
with her. Well, by the way, though, her mom.
Yeah, your mom's a
book.
You write a book about how
your
you
daughter.
were a bad
your daughters write the book. All right, that's one thing.
But you
shouldn't write
You're
the book.
like a person who likes to watch someone have sex with your spouse.
You're a cuck.
Cuck.
Just like your husband. Just like your husband is also a cuck.
But
both of these people are cucks. They deserve each other.
I told you I was going to get that in here today.
So,
also the husband eventually, their dirty laundry comes out.
Yeah, they
all find out about it.
They were going to get divorced, and then they decided, no, let's make it work because we love each other.
But I'm sure they got divorced.
Even though you gave a handy to the guy that you were.
And she consistently had a relationship with B.
Yeah.
Even after all this,
they were having sex.
Even after all this,
The way that they first start is weird too.
It's not
he calls her and is like, "Hey, can you bring me a sandwich?"
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah. I asked you when we were watching. I said, "Hey, Jordan, if I called your girlfriend and said, hey, can you bring me a sandwich at work?"
Yeah, that was weird.
I would have no response to that. I would just be like,
because it's like, what the what do you mean?
What am I supposed to do with that?
And I'm sure she didn't tell her husband about that.
You asked Marissa to make the sandwiches.
No.
But all right. Let's wrap this up already.
So her mom wrote a book, but B is actually still alive and still bugging them.
And free.
But he's
and
he's free.
And this is the point.
Man.
So B shows up to one of these rallies and some Hell's Angels.
Yeah, some
bikers.
Baca.
They
Babies against child abuse.
Yeah.
Bikers against child abuse.
And they were just like, this guy, and they stopped him, and the cop showed up,
and then
the
B was there with the gun.
And then no.
First,
let's talk about the brothers.
First, what happens is he gets arrested because one of the bikers jumps on his car and he runs it.
The brother is describing all this.
The brother's telling us what happened.
He jumped up on the car and B ran him over, and then B had a gun on him.
Like this brother is like.
He's the best.
They didn't get a chance to get their story straight before the documentary was made because he's dead.
I feel like he must.
And they were just like, if we were going to interview you about what your brother did, what would you say? And he's like, I'd tell you everything that happened. And let me start by saying he liked little girls. And then he just went.
I think he also just doesn't give a. He's dead at this point. Like, what does it mean to him?
Yeah, so he's
not the one who liked little girls. Like,
probably didn't like him his whole life.
He's going to be arrested because he ran someone over and had a gun.
That's what gets him time.
And he goes, you know what? I won't make it in prison, and he kills himself.
You know why? Because he don't like child molesters.
Himself. He takes some
all of his heart pills,
some
and Kahlua and milk.
Was it Kahlua or kombucha?
Kahlua
and
kombucha's
milk. The other
kombucha
stupid.
is non-alcoholic, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Kahlua and
milk.
And he died.
That reminds me of that
the
mom from the '70s show who's a drunk. She drinks Kahlua all the time.
So he took his heart medication and Kahlua and milk.
All right, so let's rate
rate
this film. I would say I'm gonna give it a full potato. I did not enjoy it because of the things about it were so terrible. But it's a documentary. You're not really supposed to enjoy a documentary.
It's the only documentary I've ever seen that it just gets worse and worse.
It's a riveting documentary.
The content.
It's
is
interesting
for people to understand
how dumb these parents are.
Not just how dumb these parents are, but how
it's
people will try to manipulate.
It's definitely a story worth telling. Like,
yes,
it's so strange and
Netflix
odd.
Did not
like
make a
it's
mistake
definitely
in
something you want to learn about from the '70s and like this relic.
I'm also gonna give it a potato.
Another
I think that
perfect
these
score.
parents are
giving it a potato yet.
The most negligent parents
you have to say it.
I've ever seen.
I give it a
television.
potato.
Good.
Oh, and this is like another.
I give it two. I give it two potatoes molesting a smaller potato.
Oh my god! This is another little context thing. So Marissa found an article because this documentary has gotten big.
Yeah.
Marissa found an article and it's one of the sisters of Jan, and she's saying they're asking her,
it's just kid stuff.
They're asking about whatever, and she's saying, like, I really don't like that my parents are getting all this hate, and she.
What?
Let me finish. She says, "There's no way you could have seen all of this was happening."
You,
yeah,
you
can. Yeah. A lot of this is pretty obvious.
This is what I have to say to you, sister.
You don't have to do that.
You're a rapist? Like the rapist that kidnapped your sister twice wants to sleep in the same bed with your sister. That's not a red flag to you?
There were so many red flags all over the place.
Yeah.
Like literally the whole time.
You know, he asked me.
And you're
Every
gonna
single
say your
time-
parents saw none of them?
Every single time one of the parents came on to give more exposition to the documentary,
Yeah.
I went, "Why would you do that?"
like right off the bat, it's just a red flag. It's just fucking weird guy has an interest in my daughter.
Both
red
times.
flag, red
Yeah,
flag.
They lead with, "Yeah, we didn't like how much attention you gave our little girl." Well, yeah, what? Yeah.
And then he asked me to give him a hand job, and I knew right then and there I shouldn't do it, but you know what? By God, I did, and I feel ashamed.
And
like,
you know what? He actually says it's the worst thing he's ever done in his life.
Really,
That's the worst thing
thing.
you've ever done.
Your daughter was raped over and over and over again because of your crafty
and you
decisions.
sent her to the rapist.
All right,
That's the worst thing you
that's-
ever did.
This
That's
movie,
enough.
This
Let's-
movie should have been called "Abducted in Plain Sight" with a parent slip.
let's
With a parent permission slip
parent-
to fucking get molested by a
wrap
monster.
it up. So
yeah, that dude.
These parents.
The
These
parents.
parents.
I feel so bad for Jan.
Okay.
Yeah, really. That's
Her story is just, I mean,
It's
riveting.
crazy.
It's
Re-
riveting.
real quick to wrap up, Roma, 0 potato. Fuck Roma.
0 potatoes.
Tao, 3
Tao,
potatoes.
3 potatoes.
Good. Go watch Tao.
Abducted in plain sight.
3 potatoes.
3
potatoes.
potatoes. Actually, I'll give it a potato and a half because, like I said, it's a
can't give
depressing.
more than a
Fine.
potato.
I'll just I mean a half potato. Sorry.
You're
That-
taking
for
you're-
what?
I'm taking because it's so depressing.
He's changing it. To,
Fine. I'll just stick to the potato.
Stick
It's
with
full
it.
potato.
Stick with it.
Full
Full
potato.
potato, but
Well, the
it
production
wasn't
content,
enjoyable
the
to watch.
production quality was outstanding.
It's totally
Yes.
worth watching.
They
It's
get
just
the
it's
FBI
gonna
guy
depress
who
the
was
shit out of
helping
you,
them.
bro.
They
Yes.
get
Yeah.
all kinds of really awesome sources.
A lot of
Okay.
interviews, which is really good. Like
There's a lot of-
necessary
yeah.
interviews.
Okay.
The reenactments were a bit much.
Yeah.
Remember that you can check us out on SoundCloud and the Himalaya app.
Yes.
You're also able to donate on the Himalaya app if you
Yes.
want. We're not pushing.
And this is where Eddie says, "Give me money."
Give me money. Go to Teespring where you can buy some of my T-shirts. I'll give Brandon a link.
Okay.
There you
Eddie has.
I make
Eddie makes
T-shirts.
merch.
Yeah.
I make merch for us too. I'm gonna start making
no
merch for us at some
Spudcast
point.
merch yet. We're waiting to see if we can pick up more traction on our subscribers.
If
Feel
anybody
free to
wants
share.
to give us like a suggestion for a Spud T-shirt, I would be glad to work
We'll
on
take it
making
into
that.
consideration.
Yeah.
Feel free to share if you like the content we're producing because we're getting now. Our first video has more than 100 views.
And
Yeah.
remember to give us
And
any
number 3 is reaching 100.
Number
too.
3 is going to get there soon too.
and remember to give us any of your suggestions for movies as well.
Comment suggestions.
Share
Be sure
it.
to subscribe so you know when new episodes come out.
Hit that bell.
Hit that bell.
Hit
yeah,
that
we're-
bell because subscribing means nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You have to
I
hit the
didn't
bell now.
realize. But if you guys share, more people will get to
Yeah.
listen
Yeah.
or watch, and then you have more to talk about with your friends, and that's always a win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
we can talk about how stupid one of us is.
Yeah. You don't have to agree with us. That's fine.
All right.
Comment on any submissions. Clearly, we watch
Like,
them.
subscribe, share.
Yeah, and make good choices. I guess.
All right.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
I'll see you guys then.
yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.